Alrighty, let me see if I've got this. I think I do. Hello out there in the land of the streams and the
Hello.
home of the family. I'm just double checking here real quick, but it's looking good. Okay, so welcome everybody to this here game 3 of the Sabbat in the Game of Thorns Crusade. We are here. Hang on, let me fix my... Got some last minute tweaky bits. So we are... No, see? Showing further proof that I'm never totally free of technical issues. So we are here today to see exactly what kind of havoc can be wrought with only 4 members of the Sabbat. Sadly, Captain Jack, Captain J. Cross, Ivan will not be with us today. He was called in for a shift at the... oh, thank you very much. Nice to see you, lovely Lanta. Pardon me. So, Captain J. Cross, a.k.a. Ivan, in our game, he was called in for a shift at the hospital. So he is not going to be with us. He instead will be healing the sick and ailing and likely engaging in some form of terrifying experimentation.
You know, those things just go hand in hand.
They do. We also do have a couple of plugs, though, that I would like to get to before I go too far. First off, I would like to... Let me see if... see, and here's the issue. There we are. So we do have a new sponsor to our streams overall. So Nerdware is now a sponsor and home of our new merch shop. Full of shirts, mugs, stickers, and more, sporting the Welcome to the Party logo or the logo of your favorite Welcome to the Party game. Use code WELCOME for 10% off your purchase. And secondly, what we have going on this evening is the premiere of Death of a Quaggoth, which is an Underdark monster D&D 5e campaign. It starts at 4 p.m., so we now have a reason that we have to be done on schedule, because these guys are going to show up, and I personally, I may even just stick around to check it out, because I think it sounds pretty cool. Underdark, monsters, I mean... I don't know.
Are the players monsters?
That's what it sounds like. That's what I'm
my
getting.
god,
But
that's awesome.
so
Yeah, I
now,
wanna see that.
I mean, you know, don't hold me to the fire if I'm incorrect, but that is my impression. So stick around and check it out. I think it's going to be pretty darn cool.
The players are all Quaggoths.
Or, well, I don't know that they're all Quaggoths, but I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know. But I am intrigued. I am curious, and Oh, they are all Quaggoths. Oh my god. Okay. Oh my god. Yeah, so that sounds awesome to me. So yeah, stick around and check them out at 4 p.m. Actually, Throck, let me know if we're even going to bother throwing it to somebody else, or if we're just going to be selfish today and hold it on for our own. Regardless, we're about ready to get going, so... just to set the scene a little bit, who among you, or would any among you, like to sort of catch the audience up on exactly what all's been going down?
I think I can give it a shot. If I forget anything, please let me know. But I believe so far, since the beginning, we were gathered at the Hollywood sign. At least some of us were gathered at the Hollywood sign and given a mission. Our mission as a Sabbat, which we must take because I think that's how the Sabbat works, is bring down the Camarilla in Los Angeles. But we are competing with another group of Sabbat who are known as the right hand of Cain. We are known as the left. And both sides must compete to bring down the Camarilla, and whoever does so better and first wins LA. So we're all in competition to do this. And so far, once we were set loose upon the city, we have, if I'm not mistaken, stolen a truck, which we then promptly destroyed, stole some construction equipment, which we used, kind of, blew up a house with 2 innocent people inside, and also the gas station next door because explosions. Uh, we then had two of our players, Gianna and Isaac, fought for dominance, for leadership of the pack in the sun, until one of them could no longer fight, and until one of them gave up first. Isaac ran into the shade, and Gianna had to be dragged back into the shade by Eddie to be kept safe. And I believe we left off after collecting some prostitutes, hanging them up, morphing their hands together with our Zamisi friend, and using them as blood banks. So we now have some innocent ghouls in there who can't escape and are being drank every once in a while. Gianna, horribly wounded. We had to give about a week, I believe, for you to regenerate yourself. You had to grow back a hand and a leg. And a leg. Isaac also had to grow back a hand. The fight was silly. And after Gianna was back in full swing, Ivan, our Zanisi doctor, decided to go get a job with a hospital in order to have a good cover and maybe make some money and make some contacts and find some more victims. And the rest of us, I believe, we were left to do with the next night as we will. If I forgot anything, I'm not sure.
No, I think you've got it pretty well in hand there.
Nice.
So some time passes in between last game and this, because I don't believe we ended on a cliffhanger. I'm pretty sure we ended actually really smoothly. So over the course of the week, the hotel is improved steadily. You guys have enough cash to get things started. So it continually is being upgraded. Each of you have your own rooms on the upper floor. Mortals are still given the opportunity to check in on the lower floors, although you don't get any traffic right now because, of course, the only rooms that are available are the ones that aren't being worked on, or rather the ones that are being worked on. There we go.
I think that's flipped, actually. I think the mortals get to stay on the top floor and we stay on the bottom. Was that correct? Because we're closer to the basement?
I believe that is correct.
And we're closer to the office? I think. I can't.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because I forgot that you guys were digging that basement.
Yeah.
Okay, so flip what I said. So you guys are on the bottom floor. Mortals could still check in on the top, but regardless, there's so much construction going on that you haven't had anyone stop in. It doesn't seem like this was an especially bustling metropolitan establishment beforehand. So, not a lot of people are like clamoring to get in while you're also under construction. But things are moving forward pretty steadily. Your rooms themselves are well enough secured against sunlight at this point that they don't really pose much in the way of any issue. I do need to remember to talk to Ivan when he comes back about a question I have for him related to his sleeping arrangements, but that's something I can work on. So, my question to you guys, real fast, did anyone have anything that would have been particularly pressing to accomplish throughout the week?
I know that I wanted to find if I could, because I think I remember last time I tried to kind of search the city for any signs of Camarilla, but this is far different from the war zones that I'm used to.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really understand how these cities work and how these people hide here. So then my next step, I don't know about anybody else, is to find a gun store.
Okay. Finding a gun store. Huh?
Never mind, go.
Okay, finding a gun store is not that difficult. You can find a few of them. Firearms are available. Not a lot in the way of like military grade hardware. I don't believe the NRA was quite in the same propaganda business then that they are now. However, so what you find are a lot of rifles, shotguns. You can find handguns, but they're
No Thompsons or anything like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
I believe the situation is a lot less regulation, but also quite a shortage since the military is trying to just take everything.
Well, there's that, and then there's also the fact that public sentiment at the time was not nearly as fetishistic towards guns as they are now. They didn't revere them in quite the same way that our modern society does. So guns were seen purely as a tool. Well, not purely, but primarily as a tool for a specific purpose. Not
Although
so
Hollywood
much as
is trying to undo that right now.
Say again?
Although Hollywood is trying to undo that right now
Yeah,
as our characters are
Yeah,
speaking.
exactly. In this moment that you are there, some of that is beginning, but it's not really quite there yet. So you can find most things that you would really want, aside from military grade hardware. Although don't forget you do have a Tommy gun.
Yes, I do, with half a drum. So 45s was going to be the 45 ammunition was what I was going to look for.
I see. So the ammunition you can get, but it's going to be expensive is the thing.
I thought so. I would also think a shotgun. I have a little list of what I want to get for myself and for the rest of the group, because I think Eddie thinks that everyone should be armed. But I have no money. I have zero money, so I have a plan. But
Eddie, Gianna will just pass you money.
Didn't
if
we
you
already
say
use
you're
it?
going to I have resources. Boom.
You have reusable money.
I have reusable.
Okay, I thought you put it all
I
down
have-
the counter and spent it on flowers or some dumb shit. I didn't know we could use more of it. All right. Well then here's what Eddie would need. All right, I'm gonna bring. Do we want to do this a game, or are we doing just planning right now?
Ooh, okay. So this is totally fine. We're essentially sort of doing downtime-ish stuff now.
Gotcha.
In future, we'll try to do this a little bit more on the in the Discord, but I'm fine with this as it stands. Oh, hello, Gamer Prince. I didn't hear a noise, but it's nice to see you, and thank you for joining. So just a reminder, inflation from 1943 to 2017 would turn $100 into $1,416.88. So $1 would become $14.16. Okay.
Do we want to just round to just a general 15?
Right. Yeah.
For our heads.
Exactly. So if
Gianna's got money.
yeah, see, now I got the noise.
Okay.
So, for example, say you want to buy a box of 45. I mean, there are any number of different kinds of ammo, but okay, so 45. It's ACP. Bulk, cheap, because this is surely legit. So it's $125. So 125 divided by 15. So
That's $10.
125 divided by 15. Yeah, so
$10 or $11.
So, well, it looks like it's $8.33. Yeah. So we'll say he tells you, because there's a bit of a shortage on stuff like that, it's going to be $10 a box. Which is, and it's going to take you at least, in order to fill that drum, we're going to say it's going to take 2 boxes. This is where my gun knowledge falls woefully shy. So, here's to hoping that we don't have anyone in the chat who's like, no, that's wrong. But
my buddy Alex would be all over this.
Yeah.
I would say a drum. Yeah, sure. We can, just for simplicity's sake, we can say a drum has 2 boxes. That's a lot of ammo. So that's probably let's say each box is 50. Let's just say I have 100 rounds in there, which is probably a ridiculous amount, but
yeah,
it's not I don't think we're all counting shells in this game.
Not that closely, no.
And I would like that. I would also like more importantly, a shotgun, a pump action shotgun.
Okay.
I think it was the only option back then. And if they have slugs and buckshot. Slugs are the big solid they're basically one giant fat bullet, which I think would be super effective because they're good for penetration, and so I think that's good for vampires. Punch holes in them, and then the buckshot to rip into them as well.
So to get everything, it sounds like you're looking at a roughly even like $150.
Okay, then I would look to Gianna while holding my care package.
And then Gianna, you have resources for three. So that's most of your expendable cash for the week. Now it's not like you have to worry about feeding yourself with that, so your money will definitely go further. But just
Or rent.
Important investment.
Yeah.
I think it is.
Okay. So
Fun has the experience with weapons. I don't.
We need to drop our content warning now.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just to let everybody know, this is a game with mature and adult themes and imagery. So there will be times where we will primarily gore seems to be our issue. But just to let everybody out there know, this is a horror themed game with mature players and characters in mature situations. I will generally, if I have the foresight at the time, try to let people know, hey, it's about to get hairy. But if this is the kind of thing that maybe is troublesome for you, do be warned. We have had moments in the past of fairly explicit torture and body modification and body horror, and that's just in the last session or two. So just keep these things in mind. Maybe that's something that you're into, but maybe it's something that you want to give a miss. In which case, the Quaggoth game is happening today at 4 p.m., and those guys, I think, are going to be pretty cool. So just keep that all in mind. We welcome everybody, but we also don't want anyone to walk into a situation where they're like, oh my God, on Saturday at noon. All right. So here's the way this is going to work. So Gianna, anytime that you need resources, normally it's not going to be I'm going to say, give me a static amount of cash. It's assumed that you can handle most small purchases. Typically, what I'll actually have you do is roll your dots of resources versus a number of successes to see if you can afford to pay for a thing. So because of the expense of what you just paid for, I'm going to say that you're going to be down 2 dice for this game session on resource rolls. So if you need to do something that's expensive, you'll need to get your success off of fewer dice. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And
Something after the gun purchase that I will want us to go and do.
Right, exactly. Yeah, because the gun purchase, that's fine. You did it. It's done. So you have a shotgun, you have slug and shot ammo, and you have 45 ammo for the Tommy gun. So you've got 2 decent guns at the ready. So real fast, let's get into Roxy. What is your overall plan for the week?
So now I don't know, because I figured we had discussed a little bit outside of game. We were actually planning to rob that store. So
oh, the gun store?
Yeah.
Oh.
I thought I would have had to, because I thought I had no money, and it would have been like, all right, well, how are you going to do it? I'm going to take it.
Okay.
So I am at anybody's disposal if you need sneaky things done.
I might actually work with you on something.
Okay.
But first, Isaac will go to Gianna, because in my mind, I have to be sure that what I'm doing is understood and acknowledged by the leader. I have a plan to induct myself into the local criminal groups.
So, in what group are you interested in?
I believe that one of the Mexican cartels or some organization similar might offer me opportunities.
If I may, it might be hard, but I do know of a criminal element that tried to kill me when I entered the city. Whoever they worked for was known as Big Tony. But I think they were Italians, so, and I know that they're not the most welcoming of other people. But if you could maybe try to get a line on who Big Tony is.
I am Italian, so I might actually have a better shot at that than anybody else.
All right. I don't know if they were Italians. I'm just judging by their suit.
But
I guess that makes me a little bit prejudiced, but hey, I don't know. I saw pinstripe suits.
It's an element of the times, dear. We roll with the punches, as it were.
Yeah.
We'll all have to get used to it, after all.
I am planning on taking my time. I, being who I am, can rise through the ranks fairly quickly. But I'm not planning on forcing it. I will step in at the lowest place and naturally rise.
I think that is a good plan.
Notices anything suspicious. I feel like this city...
Assume leadership.
I feel like this city, that despite our enemies being entrenched, I feel like it's asleep.
I feel like it's waking up. Maybe you can speed that process along.
Well, I mean asleep in a good way for us.
Oh, to us, sure.
Unsuspecting.
It's not aware. And that's, if we don't wake it prematurely, we can strike at its throat before it wakes.
I like it. I think that is a great plan, Isaac. Please do pursue it. Just keep me updated on who you start coming in contact with, names, faces, things like that, just so in case as I start roaming around the city, I can give you hints if I see some of them around.
The other thing is that I don't feel confidence in my infiltration skills other than my actual physical abilities. I think that going in alone is foolhardy. I think that
I can understand.
If I went in with Roxy at my side, I might have a better chance.
I can be there, but also not there at the same time.
True, and if I remember, your kind can put on a face to suit the... At least to a certain extent.
In the way I would present it, you would be... I wouldn't need to explain it in full words to them, but you would be my baggage.
So I want to interject briefly. So real fast here. So Isaac, and I do recall what your backstory is, but you said the word cartel, and that's not quite...
Well, no, because I like you were saying before, we're not familiar with what's in the city. I'm going to go find the largest looking criminal organization.
So that was my question, because your character is Hispanic.
Yes.
So do you? But your character is not from this area. Obviously, your character is from elsewhere. So. So here's what I'd like for you to do, and let me just double check.
Yeah, most of my criminal understanding is from New York.
Right.
We actually worked together, yeah.
So what I'd like for you to do is make for me because you're not like unaware of the world, right? Like you know, you've seen a newspaper here and there. So let's go with intelligence. And sorry, I'm actually like on your sheet. Maybe I shouldn't be. But let's go with it's going to be intelligence, and I don't want to say investigation, but that may be the better one here. I'd give you streetwise, intelligence and streetwise. Yeah. So what you're doing is you're trying to basically think about what you've actually heard with regard to the Latino criminal activity in the area.
Wow.
Okay.
Three
Three successes.
4 dice.
Not bad. So here's what you know, so at this point in time, there really isn't much in the way of like Mexican crime in an organized sense in LA. There are other elements here. There are different like there are, you know, there are Italians and there are a couple of other smaller ethnic groups, but by and large, the Mexicans aren't really here in that way. Most of them are still perfectly happy in Mexico, in their home territories. So what you actually have are sort of block gangs, essentially, who took it upon themselves. Think of them almost like racially charged vigilantes. They're or like neighborhood watches with some real firepower. They're put together primarily to defend their homes. And later on they branched out, but at this point in time, they're almost entirely like a defense mechanism.
What with my role, what would I know, like amongst them? What would be one of the more violent or more criminal of them?
So you would know that the most prominent one is the 38th Street Gang. But as far as like particular acts of violence, it all gets rolled into the racial tensions right now between the Latino people and you know, primarily the Caucasians, and specifically where it revolves around the Navy personnel and the locals.
So ignoring them for just a second. So I'm aware that the Italians are a thing, or is that?
Yeah, you're aware that the Italians are a thing. You have heard of potentially some Irish activity, but not very much. And that's mostly it right now. There are whisperings and things, but I'm not sure that you would have heard about them too much yet.
Okay. Would I have an indication of how hard it would be for me if I had like just a smidge of a recommendation to join the Italians as kind of a lower ranking beater?
So you could potentially join the Italians. Like, they could contract you. Yeah, that's something that you could probably get them to do, but they wouldn't. Like, you would never be able to be made, as it were.
Yeah, well, I'm not part of any family or anything, so I'm not super. I can never be truly important, but I could be a bodyguard to someone important eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's I'm okay with that. So what I would like to do is reach out through criminal contacts to a coyote, and have him introduce me to the Italians as a person newly coming over the border.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm assuming that word means the same thing in English.
Well,
Yeah,
like
it's
someone who ferries people over the border.
Okay. I wanted to be sure. I realized
Yeah,
that
I
I've only
understand.
actually heard that term in Spanish. But
Sorry.
yeah, would that work?
I
Would that be
think so.
a thing
Yeah.
I can do?
Yeah. So the response you get back is essentially, I know some people. Well, first, actually, so you have criminal context, yes?
Yes.
Okay. So what I actually
Great.
want for you to do, so you're gonna roll your criminal contacts. Should let you do that.
How do I just tell it to do like a generic roll?
You can just type it in like normal
okay.
/roll 3d10. Okay, so you got 2 successes. So you're able to get in touch with somebody, and they say, "Okay, let me look into it. I'll get back to you. How do I get in touch with you when I find something out?"
I'll give him a phone number for the hotel.
Okay.
And I tell him I need passage and introduction for me and my girl.
Okay. All right. He says, I'll look into it. These guys, they're not our people. They're who's here.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll work for anybody.
Okay. I'll let them know that.
So,
anything I should tell them you won't do?
Tell them I've got lined up another job for the day, so I got to work at night.
Okay. All right.
so I do just want to make sure that you know, Isaac, when I do the ability for Mask of 1,000 Faces, when I take the appearance of a human, it's of their gender and their likeness, kind of. I don't know if that means, I've never really experimented with it, so I don't know if that means if I'm in a group, everyone sees me as a different person. That it could be.
This is a long job.
Okay.
Don't exert yourself
Okay.
for common appearance. We will just accept that this is how you look to them.
Okay.
Because they'll be looking at me anyway.
Okay.
Something
works.
to note. Something that I noticed when I was attacked in the edge of town. I don't know. I didn't have a lot of time. I needed to leave because there were sirens and I didn't want to deal with the cops. But they were keeping pace with me. And they crashed into my car with a head-on collision, and they stepped out of the car with ease. Meaning, I don't know if you're only going to be dealing with mortals. Odds are the Camarilla or the Anarchs may have their claws in every facet of power in this city. Would make sense.
I expect that they do.
Just fair warning.
It will be interesting to see which have the claws in them, because if it's anarchs, we can potentially use them to our advantage.
Yes. I mean, if it's Camarilla, we could use it to our advantage, or just eat them.
Just without them knowing.
So, Gianna, do you still plan on infiltrating the Italians as well? Coming at it from 2 angles? Or 3?
Potentially. I might. It will depend on who I run into. I'm looking to get involved in the film industry. It seems to be quite a big showing around, and I don't know if any of you listen to the radio, but there seems to be quite a lot of drama going on in the industry right now.
Yes.
Paramount seems to be getting it. And a Paramount executive was found literally torn to pieces.
Yes. That actually
So-
is an idea.
Now, mind you, film is something I'm interested in anyways. It was always my passion.
I would say be careful. Like I said, I believe that they currently are asleep, unaware of us, and distracted with their own squabbles.
I'll happily take advantage of that. But
Yes.
first, I have to get involved enough to be told the secrets.
Yes.
If I run into the Italians along the way, I might be able to insert myself a little higher up because I am Italian and from a family that is known actually back in Italy.
Any help you can offer.
Okay. Gianna, what are you doing during the week?
So I actually would start trying to find the clubs or hotel restaurants, things like that, where people in the film industry seem to congregate. I start at the restaurant in the hotel where that Paramount executive was found torn to pieces, assuming that he was their intent. I'm going to try at least like going there and at least trying to keep an out, start looking. I'm going to start trying to get to know, like put my resume out there. I've been in anything but as extras and things like that. So I'll try to actually start getting myself a job within the film industry. As an actress is my goal. I don't have any specific connections for.
I don't know what we're going to do about her freezing.
Yeah, am I doing it constantly?
Yeah, like a lot. If you have any extra Chrome tabs that you can close, please do.
I'm literally closing everything I can right now.
Okay. Okay, so you're getting your face and name out there. You're schmoozing around. You don't get any really good bites. You get a lot of sort of lower level guys who clearly find you to be attractive, and so they'll listen and they'll chat you up. They'll buy you drinks and listen to your stories and maybe laugh a little too hard. But you're not yet getting any big fish interested.
Right. Well, and I'll start putting on my awe with my presence to try to like really.
Oh.
Yeah.
Power to.
We didn't hear. Oh.
Oh.
I don't know what's going on.
Maybe just to jump in, jump out. I know that might mess with the cameras, but like.
She and I are on the same internet. And I'm.
That's what
fine.
I'm saying is it might be restarting her interaction with the system might help, but it's definitely your call because you have to deal with anything that happens with the cameras.
Let's. So let me ask real fast, Portia. Have you closed out of every other thing? And I'm talking Steam, Discord. Like, you made sure that they're totally closed. Okay. And you have no extra tabs open.
Ooh, she's freezing right now.
Oh my god.
That's rough.
I only have things related to the game up.
Okay.
What about the Twitch? Do you have the Twitch closed out?
I might have to just straight up close out of Twitch, period, which sucks.
Give it a shot.
Yeah. Do that.
Or you could have one of us. You could have Isaac walk around and speak for you as your butler. Like, tell them what I want. She wants this. Tell them who I am.
Okay. Yeah. So she would start using her awe to try to like get them like focused and thinking about her long term.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's my goal. Is a week, like, you know, maybe even as an extra, just get in a film. In the, you know, get on a sound stage.
Sure.
Do an audition, something.
In the course of a week, that's not going to happen. But what will happen is that next time I give you XP, you'll be allowed to buy up to 2 dots of film industry contacts.
Can I also ask,
yeah.
how were you getting these responses? Were they by mail by telephone?
Oh,
For me. For me?
Yes, yes.
A combination of mail and telephone. She would give the address and the telephone for the hotel is where she's currently staying.
Okay. Is there any way that, Zed, that I would be able to get my hands on any of those? Maybe she tosses them in the trash, or I'm nearby when she has the call.
The answer is yes.
Okay.
Okay. So, it's Saturday. Ivan informs you that he has to work a shift at the hospital, so he won't be around for the evening. And he heads out actually nearly immediately after the sun goes down. I need each of you to make a rouse check. Okay.
Ooh.
That's good for you, Eddie.
Yay. It is good because I'm already at 3 hunger.
Yeah.
I think at 5 you like lose your marbles.
Don't we start at 1 hunger every day if we don't have any? Because like I'm currently sitting at nothing. I thought I reset to 1.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, at the beginning of the day, whether I pass the test or not, I start at
you
1.
go down to 0 only if you fully drain someone to their death.
That's what I thought. Okay, and that's what I did before, but it upon waking up, I'm reset to 1.
Yep.
Okay, just double checking.
So, you wake up, you go through your evening routine, and then a car pulls up. It's a well-maintained car. Eddie, you've been in this car.
The fish.
Mm-hmm.
I would have seen the car drop him off.
Okay. Yes. The car pulls up, and out of the front passenger side, Benny the fish gets out of the car, and he heads into the motel lobby.
I head down to meet him.
Mm-hmm.
If I have an indication that that's what people are doing, I'll follow them. But if I don't notice, then I wouldn't.
I'm perfectly willing to say that you notice.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Actually, as everyone's heading to the lobby, I'm gonna go over to his car and see how many people are in the car.
1. It's his friend.
The tongueless one?
Yep.
I leave and go into the lobby.
Okay. So Benny is standing, leaning rather against the counter. He's wearing a thin, well-tailored suit. It fits him very well, and is clearly of pretty high quality. He also has a trombone case that he laid down on the floor next to him, and he is just leaning there looking fucking cool, smoking a cigarette. It's a small hand-rolled cigarette, and seems to give off like almost like wisps of a reddish tint along with the normal smoke colors.
A blood cigarette. Do you have any more intel for us, or?
I know a lot of things. I'm here first to check in on you, to see how you're doing, to answer any questions you might have, and also to see how you're settling in. Your compatriots have been setting themselves up. I won't tell you exactly where, but it's definitely not as nice as this.
Really?
They're the sort of people who prefer to stay low.
Good to know.
I feel that it's good to have a good front. I don't know if you saw, but around back, there's quite a lot of construction going on underground.
I did notice that to some degree. I also happened to see some of the information as it came across. People coming out here and checking in. Do want to let you know that if I can find it, that means other people can find it as well. You haven't done anything to arouse anybody's suspicion yet, but do be careful, because something big, if it were to go down out here, people would notice. Nothing much ever happens out here, so it doesn't take very much to trip people's alarms.
Thank you for the warning.
Something like an explosion, maybe.
I did hear about that. I got a bit of a chuckle. I'll tell you, though, that right now I don't think anyone's really paying too much attention to it. It sounds like the story in the papers just is what it is, and it's tragic and horrible, and everyone's ready to move on from it.
People will forget next time the death toll comes in.
Well, and that's the thing, right? But right now, in the city, everyone's got their own particular concerns. So there's not a lot of time to spend losing tears over some yokels who bought it because they got a cigarette too close to the gas pump, you know?
Exactly.
Good point. Tell me, Mr. Fish, in your travels in the city, I assume you've been here for a while, correct?
Probably not as long as you'd expect, but long enough to know the lay of things.
All right. I have a couple of questions for you. Answer them if you want, or if not, that's all right. That's fine. I need to find Canaanites. Now, I understand if you don't want to give any information, but if you could instead just point me into locations where I could begin my search. I have no problem hunting myself, but cities are alien to me.
Well,
this is a new ground.
So here's the thing. It's going to be kind of difficult for you. The way you feed is pretty tough.
You know how I feed.
You think I wasn't told who was coming into this town?
Fair enough.
I have to be aware of what the problems likely are if I'm also expected to clean them up.
I have every intention of, if at all possible, if my plan goes through, to turn this liability into an advantage.
And I'm sure that's part of why you were selected. As for how you handle this problem in the short term, I will tell you there are a few routes you could take. And that actually brings me to my larger point. Sort of my reason for being here this evening. First, Chinatown might be the simplest way for you to go about looking for what you need. There's a lot of things that can be found down there, things that aren't easily located otherwise.
Things that can be bought.
Exactly.
Understood.
Now, as far as anybody giving up a kindred, I don't know that that'll happen, but maybe you can find somebody who's willing to give up their liver.
Fair enough.
Now,
To start.
as for the rest, there are two primary issues that I think you may find interesting. Maybe a good way for you to make your way in. First, I'm having some troubles with the one that you ran into there, the people who work for Big Tony. Now, Tony he's not a big player. He's a pretty little guy, pretty small fish in a fairly large pond.
I guess he named himself Big Tony.
That or his childhood friends. He is, in fact, large. And his name is Antonio. It's not a very imaginative name. You'll see when you meet him, if you meet him.
Right.
But Big Tony, he runs a bookkeeping outfit. And he might be the kind of guy that no one would care too much if he was replaced, as long as he was replaced with someone who can earn better. Additionally, he could always just end up working for someone else without anybody knowing it. But I will tell you that organized crime is one of the many different pies that the Camarilla have their fingers in. I think probably the best way for you to get to them is to work your way up through that, not to go through their children. You off the Prince's kid, for example, everybody's going to know, and now it's a war in the streets. Strangle them slowly. Maybe they don't notice until that noose is too tight.
Take their resources from them.
It's one way to go about it, yeah.
Yeah.
As for the other possibility, we do make airplanes in this town. And there's quite a bit of business to be had. Where there is business, there is money, and where there is a lot of money, there are vampires. Douglas Air Systems, they are one of the companies that is manufacturing frames for the war effort, and they may be another possible way in. They have a few different managers and vice president of this, executive, something or other of that. People too high up for me to go say hi to and shake their hand, but maybe some of you could get in. You get that close, who knows what else happens.
Sir.
And gentlemen need a secretary.
Secretary, hell, gentlemen need a mistress.
Probably more lucrative.
Sir,
Yes.
you are not removed from the businesses and goings on in this city. They affect you, just like they affect everyone else.
Yeah.
What could we possibly do in your favor in this town?
Big Tony's after me, obviously. I owe him some money that I don't really plan on paying back. Now, he and his boys, they've got some kind of dealing with somebody up the chain. Gives them a bit of a bump in their power. Deal with them, maybe you work your way up.
Big Tony's position, you said that he was a small fish in a big pond, correct?
LA is a pretty big pond.
It is. Would his crew, his group, would they be accepting of a Hispanic leader to replace him?
No. No, I don't think so, but if they're not given too much of a choice, or if they're not there to say anything one way about it or not, or if maybe Big Tony never goes away, but maybe he is one of yours, or and a number of other possibilities, I trust you and your ability to improvise, explosions notwithstanding.
So
Alright.
here's the main question then. Is there a place we can go to start up with Big Tony? However, we improvise that starting up.
Tony owns a club. I can't go in there anymore, but any of you could.
I like going to clubs.
It's called the
Which one is it?
It's called the Tiny Bopper.
And I got a date tonight.
I'm getting whiplash from this man's names.
It is over on the east side of town. It's pretty small. Mostly it's well, they advertise live music, which is how I was there in the first place, but frankly,
I was going to ask with the trombone.
oh yes, but the music isn't really the main draw. The main draw is the bookkeeping.
Mm.
Is it attached to races or?
It's attached to whatever. You want to bet on something, someone's willing to give you odds.
We might find some interesting games through this.
You might.
Perhaps some betting games that aren't for ordinary folk.
Mm.
All right. I think that's enough to start with.
Do you have any questions before I go? I do have a few things I'm taking care of this evening myself, so I will not be available later.
You said that Big Tony is connected higher up.
Yes.
If he were to change a tune suddenly and act differently, who's going to notice?
Whoever he pays.
All right. All right. We'll look into him more. Thank you. That's all my questions.
Anybody else before I leave?
How do you treat your friends?
How do I treat my friends? With respect and love. How do you treat your friends?
Loyalty.
Well then. Not too different, are we?
What I'm saying is, it is my plan to act in this city in a way that would benefit you.
Which I do appreciate, but remember, I am not the thing that you are here to benefit. We are here to benefit the Sword of Cain.
You are capable.
Yes,
If
but
we can work together more,
I see.
we can use you.
My position is
To our
one
benefit.
where I am meant to be as independent as I can be most of the time. I am expected to be the fixer and primary contact for both packs. And so if it were seen that I was friendlier with one group than another, it may be considered that I was inobjective in my duties and I might be removed.
That
Got
is
it.
why I ask. We must do our job to the best of our abilities. Leverage all friends and all skills that we can. I needed to know if you were one of those things that we can leverage. Or
If it is something within my power, I will, of course, always try to help you. But I will be quick to let you know what my boundaries are when we find them.
That seems fair enough.
And we can assume that that's the same for the other hand as well. That applies to them as well.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Although I don't think they're very much the asking for help type.
No, they didn't seem like it.
All right.
Well, I'm going to be on my way then. Stay safe out there. You, he turns to Eddie, get yourself something to eat. You're looking a little dead.
And everybody in this room is looking a little tasty. So I think I shall. Thank you.
And he turns around and heads up.
All right. I'm going to Chinatown. Who wants to go with me?
Well, if we then go to
The club?
Yeah. Tiny bopper.
yes, if after China.
Oof.
It's just getting
I
worse.
don't think the phone's working.
I don't think you healed all the way. Your throat seems to be having issues. So, shall we say Chinatown first and then this club? Just so that I don't fly off the handle and rip someone in half or some nonsense.
Eddie,
Yes?
do you need to feed? He said something about giving up a liver.
Yes. I am hungry. I'm okay. I'm not going to kill you right now, but if I get a little hungrier, I may lose control of my faculties and you will all have to put me down or cage me up.
Well, here's the thing.
That would be quite a waste.
Yes, it would.
Won't our organs just grow back?
You'll also take quite a bit of damage from that and probably quite a bit of hunger yourself. You'll lose a lot of blood in the process.
My
If we had
food
our
is
Zamisi, perhaps we could remove it more carefully, but I mean, I just have this and I don't think it's not a surgical implement.
Doesn't matter.
If it comes
food-
down to it, I mean.
Yours does not.
If it comes down to it and I need a kidney or a liver, then yes, you can give me one of yours. I don't know if they grow back because I've never tried that with anyone. I usually just eat all of their organs and move on, leave the husk behind for the carrion.
If we're going to do something unpleasant, we should do it here rather than out in the city.
Well, if this is a black market trading and I need to buy a canine liver, which is, I assume, what Big Fish was talking about, or Little Fish or Mr. Fish was talking about, then I would rather set up that contact and understand who these people are. They're connected to Canaanites in some way, for God's sakes. They have one of their kidneys or something. They have to have some connections to the Canaanites.
True.
They don't have my trust, and I don't know these people, but this is what it's like in the city environments. We need to work with people like this.
Yes.
Otherwise, it all falls apart.
What I am saying is, I do not trust, even with Gianna's help, I don't expect the deal to actually go through.
I have a
in this
plan.
night. If you need food, take it from me now, or not at all.
No, I want you in peak physical condition.
That is your choice.
Yes.
I mean,
Isaac
I
and
guess
Eddie's
it's worth
conversation
checking
is
out.
weird.
I'm saying, do it now or don't ever. Like, this is your last exit before we go forward, because if you go berserk, I won't help feed you. I will kill
I
you.
expect no help from any of you. I expect none of your charity or your organs. I never expected that. I'm expecting to solve my own problems. If you wish to help me solve these problems, that's fine, but that is of your choice. I want none of your
Lose
organs.
control, I will kill you, and I will use your corpse to further our cause.
That's fair. I would do the same.
Isaac, you will not kill him. You will put him away until we can solve the issue so that he is of his own mind. There is no point in killing someone when you can calm them down. Stake him if you must.
I have a few. You want to use one of mine? If you can
Give
get
me
it
one.
off me.
Yes.
If we need to, we will. But we will
I
not
will-
kill each other.
Rule question, really quick. I'm sorry, guys. Zed, when you go frenzy and lose your gosh dang marbles, are you still in there, or are you just a frothing maniac?
We'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Cool. Okay.
Okay.
I gotta read more into that. I think I have something called ride, like a gangrel thing. I don't know, but I have to.
Well, so being on Inhumanity allows you guys to ride the beast to some degree. If you frenzy, you have the opportunity to sort of control your frenzy a bit. However, a hunger frenzy is something that you could not just control like that.
Is a frenzy something that you can turn on?
You can try and resist it, but at that point.
But not a hungry frenzy. I mean, just like, can you just like go Wolverine feral frenzy?
There are ways of doing it. There are rituals for that.
Like a berserk. Oh man, that's crazy. This game is crazy. Roxy, did you have something that you wanted to say?
Just that it's worth checking out.
The Chinatown contact?
Yeah, at least giving it a look over, see what's there.
Yes.
All right. The next question: should we bring the dump truck?
Oh, I was going to ask Sebastian for his car. Oh no, he said he took.
He doesn't have a car. I already tried. I tried to do that in the beginning.
No, we should take a taxi into town.
Okay. All right. Let's do it.
I will follow.
Are you going to end up with a dead taxi driver and a taxi all your own by the end of this?
Hey man, let's just see where the night takes us. You know,
Okay.
we're a couple of young Sabbat on the town. Let's.
Here's what we're gonna do. I want us to pause for a moment. We're gonna bring in Death by Mage, because I actually need him for some NPC action. And then this will also give us a chance to see if we can reset Gianna.
I'm going to restart my whole computer.
So so we're gonna take what we hope to be a 5-minute break. So let me just put this up. Let's see. Here we are. BRB. Boop. Boop. Boop.
Yeah, this all sounds good. Good plan, I think.
And
I'm going to follow in my garbage truck so that if anything goes wrong, we have an escape vehicle that is proof against the sun.
All right.
Because I don't want to be stuck out in the city without some way to get back.
Okay. So our goal is to be back in about 5-6 minutes. So thank you everybody out there. Please hang tight. But otherwise we shall return shortly.
Sergeant First Class Mark Wood. Sergeant First Class Mark Wood. Sergeant First Class Mark Wood.
So hopefully people can hear us now. And it looks like we have someone named Ivan, but we in fact don't. We actually have a pretty sweet guy by the name of Death by Mage.
Hi, everybody.
What?
I'm the other ST.
So you guys have decided to go off into Chinatown, and now first I understand that we've got some shenaniganery with regard to a taxi cab to deal with. So
Yes.
Here's what I will say happens. So you called for the taxi cab from where?
So Isaac drove Eddie down to the other nearest hotel, maybe a little farther, doesn't matter, down a good couple of miles away to the next establishment. Drop me off outside. I either use we call from our hotel and tell them to pick us up at that hotel. So because they can't really track phone numbers back then. So they pull up at that hotel. I get in. I go, all right, drive me up the road to that hotel. We're picking up a couple friends. So we go from business down the road up to our hotel. We pull up to our hotel, and I'll
walk up.
I grab him by the back of the head and snap his neck, just because I don't want his blood everywhere. And just kill him right there and then.
Okay. All right. So a couple things. One, so I just want to be certain that I understand the order of events here. So you say you walked to another location and called from there?
I drive him there. Just to
in the I see, in
Garbage
the
truck.
garbage
We call while we call. I would say probably Gianna calls from our hotel, telling them to pick up a friend at
some other place.
the other said location
Now, when-
that Isaac drops me off at. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Then I get in, say, take me over here.
Okay.
He brings us to our hotel where everyone else is waiting. We dispose of this man.
I would actually like to eat him.
Do you? Okay, so you probably told me that ahead of time. All right.
I'll take care of him. Yeah, I'll just walk over and
Hang on. You've all gone so far ahead of me. But I need you to
Hungry.
and you'll get that part will happen. You're fine. But What I want to point out is, okay, so you get into the car, and I want you to make for me, it's going to be, hang on. Let me see here. I just need to look at a character sheet because they keep changing words on me, and I want to make sure I'm saying the right ones. So give me a wits plus awareness.
Me?
Yes, Eddie.
Okay. So wits. Oh wait, do I roll under awareness first and then choose wits?
Yeah. Yes.
I think that's how it works.
Yeah, that's how it works.
With no modifiers?
Accurate.
Damn. Ugh. 2 successes on 3 dice. Or
6 dice.
Well,
6 dice.
first
Yeah,
off,
you're
that's fine. I don't need you to make a whole ton of successes.
Okay.
Just some. But okay. So secondly, so here's what happens. You get in the car, and upon getting in the car, you do notice that he's got a dispatch radio. And that's how he gets his calls from place to place. So when you get in and say, "All right, take me over to the Del Madre," he says, "Sure thing, boss." And then
the Sunrise.
Oh yes, sorry, I forgot it's the Sunrise now. So you say, "Take me over to the Sunrise." Well, first he then says, "Where? I've never heard of the Sunrise." And then you say, "The old Del Madre." Ah, okay. Just to speed through that awkward interaction, but so he says, I mean, you know what? Whatever, man. Cranky old English dude. I mean, it's cool. We don't have to be your favorites. We will be eventually. It's fine. It's fine. I'm confident. But no. So you get in the car, and so he pulls off his radio, and he says, "Dispatch. I'm taking one subject over to Sunrise Hotel, or motel rather. Blah blah blah. And he just puts it back. So dispatch is aware of where he is headed.
Okay.
So you pull up now, and you notice that interaction go down.
All right. Then when we pull up, I tell him, "Hold on." I get out of the car, and as I start approaching, I'm like, And when I walk over, as I pass Gianna, I just put my hand on her shoulder. Just, we'll let this one live. And I go in and make sure everybody's getting out.
Okay. Does anyone kill him anyway?
Here's when you come over to us, it's just we could take him somewhere else.
Oh yeah, I was going to go to Chinatown.
Yes, what I mean.
I was going to go to Chinatown first. That's where we're headed anyways.
What I mean is don't do it here. And if we're going to do this, then if we bring him to Chinatown, I assume we're all in the lobby talking before we go back out there.
Yeah.
His meter is running.
Yes.
He's making money. When we bring him to Chinatown, we say, okay, that's it. Then call from a nearby payphone and send him to, another location nearby. We'll just kill him there. If you guys really want him that bad.
I am hungry.
What I don't want is this taxi cab goes missing. They start looking into it because taxi cabs are money. They start figuring what was his last stop. This place. They took someone from this place and took them to this place, and then he disappeared. Well, obviously the people that he took were the ones that took him, or the last people to speak to him.
Yeah.
And now we're dealing with more cops already.
Right. So take Benny the Fishes.
Yeah.
Gianna.
Yes. I'm on board.
There's blood bags in the room.
Yeah. Just go take from the cab. I know.
It's not my style.
Okay. You like them when they're squirming. I get it. Are we ready to go to Chinatown?
I'm ready.
How many people could fit in this taxi cab?
These are the days of the nice wide bench seats. So
Oh no.
What?
No, you're
Yours
stuttering.
froze.
Oh,
You're
are
good
you
now,
kidding
you're good.
me? It's
It was just for a
spread.
second.
It's like a
a
virus. So these are the days of the nice wide bench seats. So
3 in back, 1 in
you
passenger.
you can fit 2 up front next to the driver.
Yep.
They didn't have center consoles. It's just one bench and then another bench.
I will sit behind the driver. Isaac, you sit next to the driver.
Yep.
Bucket seats are fairly modern.
Could I then do Mask of 1,000 Faces and take a back seat?
Yeah.
Look just like me.
Now,
No, they'll see me as just like their gender, just nondescript.
Just
Yeah,
generic
Joe
person.
Schmo.
Yeah.
Really? Huh.
All right.
Yeah, it doesn't make you anyone specific. It makes you very specifically no one in specific.
That's spooky. Ooh, that's spooky. Ooh, what a weird power. I don't like it. Someone you wouldn't look at twice. You just go on. Oh.
yeah,
So
Mask of 1,000 Faces, real quick. So you do need to give me a rouse check for it.
Yeah. It says it's one scene, so with that, when I get there, then is it going to disappear when we get there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the drive there is going to count as a scene, but once you get there, I'm going to say it's yeah, we can fudge it a little bit once you're out. I'll let you know when you need to refresh it.
Alrighty.
All
right.
But yeah, so make a rouse check now. Okay, so you do gain hunger.
I'm also now probably going to need to eat.
Yeah. I mean,
Maybe we can share.
y'all are vampires. Sometimes that's the thing that happens. So just to sort of let everybody know. So it says here quite simply, anyone viewing the vampire sees a forgettable face of the same gender and approximate build and height as the user. Clothes take on the same kind of blandness depending on the environment. At an office, the user might appear as a night watchman, while they may seem to wear overalls at an assembly plant. And then there are ways to get through it. But now there is something to be aware of, though. They arouse little suspicion as long as their presence is at all plausible, meaning that it will not fool people who do not expect anyone or would be hostile against anyone they didn't know. So there are times where Mask is maybe not as useful as you'd like for it to be. Thank you very much, Reduxist. But at least at the very moment, you guys are in pretty good shape.
Okay.
So he gets on his radio. He lets dispatch know. I've picked up 4 passengers headed towards Chinatown. We'll notify upon arrival.
As we're driving, I want to say, as not creepy as possible and not spooky sounding as possible. So are those new? Those little radios? Are they in every cab?
Most cabs. We've only had them about a year. They're pretty new. Makes it a lot easier for us to get around instead of having to wait around someplace for a call or constantly having to head back to dispatch and sit there until someone needs us. Yeah, they're definitely pretty new. They're fairly expensive too. I don't know that everybody's got them, but we do. Boss really likes us to be able to just take on the next fare without having to come back. Saves on gas.
Are you guys the bigger taxi company in town?
Well, I mean, I certainly like to think we're the best.
Okay. Take me to Chinatown.
So, you guys been in the city long? Nice weather. Lovely weather we're having.
Yeah.
You can be silent now,
Oh.
And I am telling him to shut up.
Okay.
With a magical power.
Oh, really?
The magical power of shut the fuck up.
You don't necessarily need to use
Shut the fuck up.
your magical STF powers. He will take the hint quite quickly. And so therefore, you guys drive in silence to Chinatown, and he sort of pulls into the center of the area with what would be sort of like downtown Chinatown, and stops the car and says, "Is this where you want to be?"
Are there any meat markets?
There are. There are also. So there's like an essentially think of it like one sprawling open air market, like in front of a bunch of buildings. So like there are buildings with their own storefronts, but then in front of almost every one of those buildings, there is some kind of additional like stall or person with like a counter of something or other, or someone with a sign advertising some other place. Like it is pretty tightly packed even at this time of night. It's still early evening, and what you can also hear is there are a fair number of jazz clubs over here, as well as some pretty upscale restaurants. There are a lot of white people over here, actually, who are dressed in varyingly insulting versions of sort of faux Asian attire that's been westernized heavily, who are headed out for fairly opulent nights on the town. So yeah, it's pretty bustling over here. Everything is there's a lot of noise, a lot of voices, a lot of people. Hang on one sec. So that is a good point. So just to let everybody know, just to repeat, and I'm not going to belabor the point, but consider this the warning for anyone who is out there right now. This is a game of modern ish horror. We have in various sessions dealt with quite a bit of gore and body horror, and there are any number of other potentially mature scenes and sequences that may occur. So if that is not your bag, I apologize, but this may not be the game for you. If that is your bag, then yeah, this is probably a game for you. So
I'll lean back in the vehicle, back towards the three others. This place good?
I think this is good enough. We should be able to find what we need. And I get out of the car.
I'll start getting out, and as I'm getting out, I'll look back to the driver. Which way is the what's that club? Tiny Bopper?
The Tiny Bopper is it's about 20 minutes north of where we are. I think. I don't know. I'm getting my directions wrong. But whatever direction he tells you is the correct direction.
Yeah. Okay. But we know like generally which way to go now.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. We might call you again for that.
Who's paying me? It's $7.16.
Here.
Thank you very much, Frozen Lady. He takes the money from the Ice Queen and continues on his way.
All right. I would like to look for some of these stalls.
Okay.
Actually, before we go anywhere, I want to look over to Roxy. Roxy.
Yes.
I'm going to be trying to find out which one of these people procures exotic meats. If you can hang around us, try not to be seen, and if we find who we're looking for, I want you to see what they have in the back. I want you to see if they have a lockbox, if they're part of a store, and if they are part of a store, if they have a back room, a freezer, things of that nature. Okay?
Okay.
So just think recon, think intelligence gathering. I want to know how this operation works if we find this person.
But when we find this exotic meat place.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, well, we find not every stall. I don't care how the fish guy does his thing. I
All
want to
right.
know how
Just
the
making
person
sure.
who sells. Yeah, gotcha. Okay.
Can I use my criminal contacts in any way to at least get a beginning lead?
Not so much here.
Okay.
Yeah, your criminal contacts are good and they know a lot, but this is even if you had like higher level criminal contact, well, because I want to make it clear.
Criminal context is more mortal business.
Well, it's not just that. It's also the fact that Chinatown is its own distinct entity. And so even if you had like a higher level of criminal contacts, there's still every possibility that you wouldn't know very much about what goes on in Chinatown because they just don't communicate very much outside of here. It's a fairly insular community. You would need something more specific to Chinatown to be able to interact with it.
Like that.
Yeah, you have a variety of stalls. There's a meat stall nearby. Roxy, I'm curious about you real fast. So are you going to stick with Mask, or are you switching to, Unseen Passage, or whatever it is? Yeah. Either way, I'm going to need a rouse check from you, but I need to know what for.
I'm probably going to go invisible then, since I will eventually be infiltrating a location.
All right. So give me a rouse check for Unseen Passage.
Okay. Oh boy.
All right, so that's another hunger gain. So you find yourself like a tiny area that you can just sort of duck into briefly, so no one can see you. You go invisible and come back out. So you are now functionally invisible unless someone has some way to detect you.
How?
Does do we not see her either?
No, you do not. You don't know exactly where Roxy is. You sort of, you just kind of have to sort of trust that she's around somewhere.
How am I though? Because I am 1 away from 5 now.
So you're not doing well. Like you're smelling a lot of smells, and they're starting to smell. Ooh, pretty good. Yeah, you like as you're walking, you in the back of your head, you can sort of hear this like thump 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 thump, and like it's hard to tell if you're hearing your own, no longer existing heartbeat, or if you're actually hearing the sounds from the people around you. But it's definitely starting to drive you a little bit nutty.
Okay.
Okay. So let's go to Eddie first. And for now assume that Gianna and Isaac are supporting. So Eddie, how do you
I would like to
Where do you go?
I would like to look around at some of the meat stalls that they have, and I want to find the one that has, exotic meats, things like that. But I'm also looking not so much for. Well, you said it's mostly stalls, right? So I guess I'll start there.
Okay. So so you find a stall. Yes.
I just want to note that I'm kind of acting the ditzy ooh, I'm with this strong man and he's doing something exotic, and that's so interesting. What are you trying to get? I'm just trying to act like the ditzy girl who doesn't really know what's going on. Okay. I'll be asking some stupid questions to try to get them to tell us stuff.
Okay.
That's my intention here.
Look like an easy mark, kind of.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
And if you need my performance acting, I will happily give it to you because I have a specialty in it.
Okay. Trigger warning for bad accents, by the way. I'm going to tell you some of these guys are... So they're going to do... You're going to hear some bad English accents, but what's going on is a lot of these people, A, they genuinely don't speak English very well, but B, they also know what white people are expecting to hear, and they will often deliver on that. So... I
also want to make a note for all of us. Aren't any of us blushing of life? Or blush of healthing, or whatever it's called now?
I'm not so sure that very many of you could right now.
Nope, I can't.
I could, but I don't care.
Yeah, I just...
So you guys are going to be down on some rolls. And what I will say, Death, is that our friend will be notified pretty quickly, actually, that some number of very pale white people just...
I'm Italian.
A bunch of ghostly gaijin just showed up, and there may be an issue.
Yeah.
You're not going to get. Well, you're probably no. No, you are not, because I think you may have missed what I was saying, but you'll hear. So you go up to a stall, and so he's an older gentleman behind the counter. He's got a fairly large butcher knife, and he is hacking a rabbit, cutting the head off with a decisive thunk into his wooden block. After having skinned it. And is now starting to pull out and sharpen a longer, thinner blade that looks like he's probably going to use to fillet it.
Oh, honey, is that what I think it is?
It's a rabbit, dear.
Hello, sir. What would you like?
Yes, I'm looking for, and I look at the rabbit, and I try to kind of look behind him at some of the other meats that he has. I'm looking for something exotic.
You see all meats. We have every kind. What you want?
You don't have every kind.
I have all kinds. What you want?
You don't.
Special on beef.
I don't want beef. I'm looking for perhaps something closer to a pig, but longer. Pig is what people often refer to as human
you
flesh.
You want barracuda? Next door, down way.
Nope.
Oh, honey, I don't think he's gonna have it.
I guess he doesn't have what I'm looking for. Perhaps
no.
Special on beef. You buy now.
I don't
want beef. That's abnormal.
Listen, you don't tell me what to buy. I'll buy whatever I want to buy. And I'm getting upset with him. I came here looking for something. You're not telling me. You're trying to give me bullshit.
So as this is going on, by the way,
I'm just kind of standing back. I'm not really joining this interaction. I'm just kind of following.
I would like wits plus perception from not Eddie. Actually, I want it from Shogun specifically. So Isaac,
awareness.
Wits and perception is, awareness.
Wits and awareness. I apologize.
Yeah, all good.
Oh yeah, that's the thing.
Okay. What you notice is that this interaction is attracting some attention.
I'm not the talker.
From
honey, let's just go to the next stall.
Hang on. Hang on. You guys just stomped on Isaac. Isaac?
Is it general crowd that's being like disrupted by them, or is it someone important or specific?
No. Well, so again, going by the issues of the time, so no white people have noticed you guys whatsoever. They are not paying any attention to this interaction, but you can tell that a lot of the locals are watching.
Okay. If they're only watching, then I'm not going to do anything. If they begin to, like, send people in back, like sending messengers, sort of something like that, I might do something.
Yeah, you're not sure if that happened or not. There's a lot going on and a lot to see.
Okay.
So back to Eddie and Gianna. Oh yeah, Roxy. Sorry.
Am I able to get behind the counter a little bit and see if I see anything that looks remotely people-like?
You can. So you can't really get behind the counter because it's really close up against the wall. But what you can freely peer over because people can't see you do it.
Okay, I will do.
So yeah, you're not really seeing. Or rather, because you just look behind the butcher's counter. You're seeing all sorts of shit you've never seen before. But you couldn't identify any of it as being human or not human. You see a lot of pieces, parts of a variety of animals. Most things seem to be grouped roughly by size and kind. So like over here is a pile of wiggly white looking things. And over here is a pile of slightly less wiggly red looking things. And here's some slightly larger wiggly red looking things and some slightly smaller wiggly red looking things. And over there, is that yellow wiggly stuff? That looks like yellow wiggly stuff.
Okay.
So the guy behind the counter, you know, want beef? You want pork? We got pork right here. And he's like pointing to like a pig that's sort of chained. He's like, Which part you want? You want hoof? I cut long.
No.
Mm-mm.
I am.
No, honey, let's just go to the next
He
one.
like pulls out a fairly long knife and he's like heading over to the pig. You point.
turn around.
You tell me what you want.
I turn around and I walk to another meat stall.
I follow.
Okay. He seems upset that you're leaving. But eventually he just like hones in on someone else who seems to have walked a little too close. He's like, "You there, you beef special, come by." Isaac, give me another roll. As Eddie and Gianna walk away, you see two people from different stalls nearby sort of duck down low and quickly head back into... One heads into an alleyway around the corner. The other one heads into the shop front that they were in front of.
Alleyway?
Right. So I'm trying to think of a good way to explain it. So think of the front of a store, okay, with a door in the center. To the left of the door was this guy and his like butcher stand. To the right of the door is someone else with a different stand. Someone from that stand got off of a stool that they were sitting on and ducked around the corner of the building.
All right.
At the same time, someone at another stand a few down further to the left got off of a stool as well and headed inside the store that this was just in front of.
Can I see anything inside the store at all from like through windows or anything?
Yeah,
Here?
the store seems to sell an odd assortment of all kinds of stuff. Most of the writing in the window is in Chinese, but you can see in like painted block lettering ancient herbs and spices, healing, virility, cures all diseases.
I'm gonna begin to walk into the alley.
Okay. Does anyone go with him?
Can I
Yeah,
follow?
if I see him going.
I don't know that you would. Do you tell anyone that you're doing that?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, and
I
he
hope
and I,
Roxy notices
I'll
because
follow.
Roxy's about, but you two continue your business. I won't notify you.
Okay.
You're
Yeah.
yeah. No,
Okay.
no, you're the distraction at this point. You've
Okay.
shaken things up, and I'm now gonna follow the lead that you've shooken up.
Perfect.
So Eddie and Gianna, you guys, you head on further down the line, and have a very similar, frankly, interaction with an older lady who is, if anything, perhaps more insistent that you buy the beef special than the guy was.
I don't want your beef special.
Isaac, you head around the corner and you see
Right.
a young woman. You're seeing her from behind, so it's hard to guess her age exactly, but she's unlikely to be much past 30, and likely younger even than that. And she heads around the side of the building and then heads into a side door. She pulls open this like weakly sprung screen door that makes a loud bang slap when it closes again. As you can then hear her like stomping up some stairs.
I'm gonna
Continue. Sorry.
I'm going to cough several times very loudly and then head down over to that door. Like bang, knock on it a couple times, open it all the way really wide and begin to speak in Spanish.
Oh, well,
And I'm just gonna sorry.
hang on, because you're going
Yeah,
further
yeah.
than
Yeah.
what's going to happen. So you get to that door, and the door is blocked by a fairly large
Oh, okay.
Asian man who is like, he's basically standing in the doorway, He's wearing a like a white A-frame sleeveless shirt. He's wearing he's got like a pretty well worn and stained apron that's been folded over at his waist, and black trousers. And he's just standing there holding a butcher's knife, and like looking out the door at you as you walk around.
So the door's open and he's inside of it?
The door, so it's a crappy screen door.
Outside.
He's on the he's on the inside of the screen door, just looking out, like leaning against a wall.
Yeah, I'm gonna open it up, and so he's inside, I'm outside. I open it up, and now I'm facing him. Is that correct?
Yeah, and he puts a hand out and says, "Whoa."
And I'm just holding it open widely, and I'm going to twirl my hand a bit like this, as if I were wafting air into this room, and begin to speak to him in Spanish. Con permiso, voy ahí. Tengo que ayudar.
Is there enough of a gap to slip in?
You're not certain that you could right now.
Okay.
You'd probably make contact.
Okay.
He looks at you, and then he starts replying in fairly annoyed sounding Chinese.
Oh, he's definitely gonna be cursing. I do not wish to use those Chinese curse words, unfortunately. They're very fun.
I think that's probably a good idea.
But it's offensive enough.
Sir, like making my English sound very, very strained. Can I have a delivery?
No delivery.
He told me. Have you have paper?
No. Try other door, and he points further down the alleyway.
Oh, up front. He told me. Here, I'll go with you. In front.
No delivery.
If you want to try to make a persuasion roll or something like that, you can. Attempt
I'm trying to either draw him forward just a foot or two or backward a foot or two so that Roxy can get past. So yeah, I will try. I'd like to.
Now you are going to be a bit down on the roll. What's your inhumanity?
I forget. I believe it's 4. It's 4. Yeah.
Okay, so let me pull up the. Did I already go past it? Here it is. Okay, good. No, so you're. Or did we forget to include that part? We forgot to include that part, I think. Oh, no, we didn't. Nope, there it is. Okay. Yeah, you can attempt to make that roll. Now, you did not do Blush of Life, correct?
Nope.
Okay, so you're going to be at I want to say a 2-die penalty, I'm pretty sure, to interact with him. So roll, in this case...
Can I do sort of an intimidation focus thing? I don't need to actually threaten to hurt him, but just to get him to just take a step back.
Okay.
Just a momentary flinch is all I need.
So in that case, then it's going to be charisma, because it's more of a power thing.
Yep.
So charisma and intimidation.
All right. So intimidation, charisma, -2.
-1 because of the nature of what you're trying for.
Oh, okay. Two.
Okay, 2 successes. Yeah, he, like, something that you're saying or something in the way that you're saying it, maybe it's the glinting of the moonlight and neon against your extremely pallid skin. Maybe he catches a hint of the predator inside you. You don't know, but he's definitely a bit off-put, and he does sort of take a step back for a second.
If there's enough room, I would like to slip in.
So there's enough space, but the door isn't open. I don't think anyone's holding.
I'm holding it open.
Oh, you are. Oh, okay.
Yes, I've been holding it open the whole conversation.
I apologize.
Okay.
I misunderstood that, but no, you're right. You're right. So yeah, Roxy, go ahead. So here's what I want you to do then. Give me. It's going to be athletics and. Hang on.
Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah, Dex and athletics is what
Wouldn't
it's
it be
gonna
stealth?
There isn't a stealth. Oh no, there is.
Yeah,
Hey.
Yeah.
Stealth and Dex. Sorry.
Okay. Much better.
I figured.
Yeah.
No modifiers, right?
No.
Okay.
A lot of hunger there. Whew.
Yeah. Okay, so 2 successes. So you're able to make it through and head up the stairs if you want.
Sure.
And at this point, I just like to stall this conversation as long as possible, getting nowhere, and just holding the door open.
I'm perfectly willing to say that you're able to just have this conversation last a while with neither of you making any headway. Now, here's where this is going to come in. Death, do you want to handle what she sees when she heads upstairs?
Sure.
Okay.
I can handle that.
All right.
Okay.
So I'm gonna.
It's in that location, right?
Yeah. So I'm gonna
Okay.
sort of take a general step back from the scene building part. I'll make a note of something, like if there's a specific detail, and if people need to make rolls, then I'll still handle that. But Death by Mage is sort of like guessing on this for the purposes of this location. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So Roxy, as you're entering through the stairway in the hall, there's a stairway that leads upward, and it is dimly lit. The lights are flickering, and as you ascend the stairs, and you walk, and what you will see is a small hallway with several doors on all opposing sides, and then there's another door at the end of the hallway. So I will say there are approximately 5 rooms total, so 2 on each side and 1 at the very end.
Okay. Are they all closed?
You would need to inspect the doors themselves. They are closed, though. Yes.
Okay.
They're not. You're not sure if they're locked.
So I don't want to give myself away. What I would do is maybe I'm going to walk up into the hallway, and the first door on my right, I'm going to gently tap on it and then step back like 4 or 5 feet away from the door.
Okay. Zed, do you want to just roll do you want me to just roll a D10?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So you don't seem to hear anything, or you don't seem to sense anything rattling in the other side. It seems to be relatively empty inside.
Okay. I want to do that for the other 3 doors that are to my left and right.
Okay. So eventually I will say for just the sake of expediency, by the time you get to the second door on the second door on the left, you do actually hear the sound of voices, sort of, I wouldn't say shouting, but there is that sound of, they're loud enough to kind of pass through the door.
Okay.
But you will probably not be able to understand them.
Okay. When I want to do the same thing to that door, I want to knock gently on it. Since I can hear somebody, I don't want to necessarily preemptively step back. I want to wait for them to If they do open the door, and then see if I can see anything before I step away.
Okay. Do you think she needs to make a check for that?
I'm actually double checking it right now.
Okay.
No, I think she can. I think she can pretty safely do that.
Okay.
Sort of a. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything in the power that suggests that she can't do a sort of a gentle ding dong ditch.
Okay. So that's why I wanted to verify. So you gently knock on the door or tap it, and eventually the voices stop for a moment. You do hear the sound of what sounds like a gentleman walking towards the door and advancing pretty quickly, and he opens the door probably about halfway and peeks his head out, and he's looking around, looks confused for a little bit. I will say, from what you see inside, there you do see the woman that was from earlier.
Okay.
And you also see several other males, Chinese men, and they are armed with both. It seems like they have knives nearby. They have a couple guns on the table, and there's the perfuming smell of cigarette smoke in the air. It looks like they were also eating, as you can see that there was some roast pork and vegetables on the table as well, and they seem to be playing cards for the most part.
Okay.
And I would say that the gentleman who opened the door eventually starts stepping out for a moment just to look to survey the hallway.
Okay. I want to stay out of his way as much as possible, and let him do his thing.
Okay.
Does he eventually go back in?
I will say for the moment, he's probably gonna go all the way down. He's gonna walk the length of the hallway, checking. He doesn't open the doors, but he's just gonna scan around, make sure there's nothing seems suspicious. And what he's going to do is he is going to shout down the stairwell in Chinese. Mm-hmm. And Isaac, on your point of view, you hear someone shouting in Chinese from the stairwell, and the large gentleman replies back to him. And and then after a bit, after a couple exchanges, the one who stepped out for you, Roxy, eventually walks all the way back to the room and closes the door. And you hear more conversation.
Give me another dex and stealth. It's not that wide a hallway, and him being able to do his thing requires you to sort of kind of really sort of get out of his way. Oh no. Okay, that's just a.
It's lying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yep.
Okay.
It's just the beast is getting a little antsy.
I mean, it's there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Once he goes back in that room, I want to start checking the handles on the other doors to see if they're unlocked. So I'll start with the one directly across from the one that they're in.
Okay. Let's see. It's not on. It's unlocked.
Okay. I want to. You said the light is on. It's flickering.
Yeah.
In this hallway. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I want to. What kind of a light is it? Is it just a
light bulb dangling? A single light bulb dangling over a string over the ceiling. They don't have any of the fancier things we're used to yet.
Is it? If I put my hand up, can I reach it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I untwist it? Take it out so that it's dark in the hallway?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Okay. And then I would like to enter that room.
Okay. The room is dark, and for the most part, what you do find is it looks like this is an office. There's a cabinet immediately adjacent on your left, and there is a small desk right across the way. And there seems to also be, I guess you could say, a shelf with several books and I will say cultural knickknacks just to save myself the extra description. But it is more or less a lot of wooden sculpted, wooden carved figurines. There's also jade figurines. There's also a actual Buddhist altar at the top of the bookshelf that's red. There's Chinese letterings on in the inside. The desk itself, it's not too fanciful. There is a lamp there, and there is also several sheets of paper in the inside, and or on top of it, I'm sorry. And there's also a leather chair.
Okay. I would like to check the other 2 rooms and see if they are unlocked. See if there's anything inside those rooms.
Okay. So the other 2 rooms, I will say that the one. So you visit when you first came in the hallway, you visit the one on the right, correct? The one that was immediately from the stairwell.
Yeah, the very first door on the
Yeah.
right. Was the first.
Okay. Yeah. So you already checked that one. That one you knew was unlocked. And then the other door on the left of it, immediately on the left of it, is locked.
Okay.
And so that you check the room that you first tapped, and you kind of open it. It's actually just mostly boxes inside. It's mostly some crates, and there's also seems to be cabinets on around the I will say around the walls. It looks like it could have been a kitchenette if it wanted to be one, because there seems to be the power plugs for where a stove could have sat, or a refrigerator, which at this stage is very expensive still. And I will say that the floor it hasn't seemed like anybody has come in here for quite some time. The marble is kind of dusty. It's kind of very dirty, actually. Also, it's very humid in here. It seems like no one's even opened the window in here in quite a while either.
There's a window in here.
There is a window in here.
Okay. Can I tell what is inside these crates?
You can. Do you think she needs to make a check for this one, Zed?
To interact with the crates, yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's not a check. You're gonna lose your obfuscate if you interact with these.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a logo on the crates?
It's mostly all in Chinese. The few bits of English that are there, it does say City Market. And some of them also seem to have the lettering that spells out Ming Incorporated.
Okay. All right. I don't want to open them then. Not just yet. There's one more door in that hallway at the very end, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I would like to try the same thing with that final door. I'll knock on it. And I will back up a little bit.
There doesn't seem to be any sounds on that other one, and that's the one that's locked.
Okay, that's the one that's locked.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You jiggle it ever so gently. It's definitely locked.
Okay. Then I will go back and I will check out and see what's in those crates.
Okay.
I will break it.
You will break it?
Well, I'll break my invisibility.
Okay. All right. So Zed, does she still need to make a check for opening the crates? Is there still bolted?
Yeah, to see if she can do it quietly is really going to be the thing. So you're going to make the very rare strength plus stealth.
The very rare.
Strength plus
Yes, stealth plus strength. Yep.
Okay.
Because we're going to see if you can use your strength stealthily.
Okay.
The rare time, folks.
Yeah. Hey, 2 successes is 2 successes.
Hey,
you're
true.
able to get those open.
Yeah. Okay. So you open them. You wait every so often, because you're actually what you're hearing is the ambient sound outside of the alleyway, and you time it ever so gently, and as you pull and pry the covers off that are nailed shut, you find various things. Mostly, I will say, not furniture, but relics that seem to come from that looks like China, Oriental in origin, and so there'll be like clocks. There will be ornamentations, bookends. There's also more jade figurines, gold figurines, that sort of thing. Actual vases, and ginger jars, and you'll see that it's mostly just a lot of furniture and ornamentation that are extremely rare.
Okay. I would like to attempt to open this window.
Okay.
That you can do.
Yeah.
Without rolling for it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And this would be 2 floors up, right? So okay. I have a question because I didn't think about it until now. Would he have noticed the light going out?
The guy
The man at the
downstairs?
door? Yeah.
So I'm going to say that he noticed, but didn't necessarily think anything of it because
Okay.
I don't care to go backwards right now.
Yeah,
Alright.
and he's
Like
dealing
really
with
like
Isaac, who's in front of him, which is a pressing matter
Right.
Okay.
because they're both shouting each other in their respective languages, and neither of them understanding what the heck they're talking about.
And I am going to say that at this point, it has descended to shouting, just like outright
Okay.
shouting.
Yeah.
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 I would like to take something. One of these relics.
Was it real gold?
Yeah.
Something that necessarily is going to make noise. I don't know, maybe glass. Something that's glass or maybe the jade. Sure.
If you want to take jade, there is. I will say there is I would say the size of a fist, a closed fist, a piece
hard.
of jade that is shaped like a turtle.
Okay. And it's fish shape. Okay, so I'm going to take that and I want
It's pretty large. It's sizable. You can feel the weight.
Okay. And I want to carefully go back down the stairs and I want to try to knock him out.
Okay. Okay.
Would I see Roxy approaching? Like,
Yes. Yeah.
okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm just chatting with him. You know what? I begin to make it look like I'm going to start leaving, which I imagine would make him very grateful and happy. But specifically stepping away to draw his eye very specifically away from Roxy. Just taking like half a step, and he sees I'm starting to go when Roxy does.
Okay, so... All right, so Roxy, first make stealth and dex.
Okay.
Two successes. Good. Next, give me strength and melee, and add 2 for... add 3. 1 for the weapon and 2 for the stealthiness.
Who's rolling? I'm sorry.
Roxy.
Oh, Roxy.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. What am I rolling?
Melee and strength.
My bad.
+3.
+3.
Alrighty. Where is it? There we go. Strength 3.
Better knock him out or I'm going to rip his throat out.
So 3 is not going to be enough to knock him out.
Big guy.
Yeah, he's a fairly large gentleman. So here's what happens. Roxy, from out of nowhere, just tunk, conks this guy in the back of the head. He stumbles against the wall and he swears loudly and turns on Roxy. Isaac?
Yeah, I'm going to jump behind him and try to knee him in the spine.
Okay. So
We're not subtle, are we?
I love you guys so much.
I tried.
I love you guys so
try
much.
to get some takeout Chinese food and look what happens.
I I would like to note that Eddie and I are none aware of any of this.
Yeah, do we still just know nothing about this?
No, you're
No.
just
Yeah.
We're
I'm just
screaming about Long Pig.
I am so into arguing with this old woman about how she's like, no, I do not want that.
Yeah.
No, you want this.
Every
Phil,
so
fresh
often,
pork.
every so often, a small Asian child will come up and try to sell you a pinwheel or a rose, like a single
I'm
rose.
buying the pinwheels.
Yeah,
I'm buying
at
the
this
roses.
point, I have
think
3
it's adorable.
pinwheels. These guys.
Yes, fine, go away.
whatever.
All right, no. Yeah.
Yes, fine. Thanks.
Did I get any modifiers for attacking him from behind like this?
So I mean, it's not like there's strictly speaking flanking rules in this, but I'm pretty sure.
I would say, like, wouldn't it be like assisting? Wouldn't it count as being assisted?
Yeah, and the bonus for that I think is just 1.
Mhm.
Just
So
wanted to.
no, you're fine. That's a good question to ask. So what I'm gonna say, okay, so go ahead, give me your strength and melee, or strength and brawl. +1.
6.
Oh well.
This is the thing I'm good at. And my melee attacks are aggravated damage to mortals.
He
All
explodes.
melee attacks are because
If
because of your potence. Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So you kill him. You just murder this guy. You knee him in the back. It breaks his spine. He falls over, just dead, face at first, into the stairs. His butcher's knife clatters to the ground at your feet. And you actually will hear something. You'll hear a voice from inside, behind where he was, like in the actual business behind him. You will hear someone say something in Chinese that you don't really need a translator to know. Something like, "Are you okay?"
Mimic it.
I'm grabbing Roxy by like the back of the neck and just kind of flinging her out, like, get going, run. And yeah, I'm going to leave quickly.
Okay. Roxy?
Oh boy. Okay. All right. What was this man wearing before we go?
So he was wearing like a sort of a dirty undershirt, like sleeveless undershirt, a stained apron folded over at the waist, black trousers, brown leather shoes.
What color is his undershirt?
White. Or at least it's supposed to be.
It's supposed to be. Maybe it's a little greasy. Maybe there's some stains on it.
I'm just gonna take some white fabric off of him. I'm gonna wrap it around and try to like create a shawl, and before I take off.
Okay,
Cover my face as much as possible.
Sure, give me some. You know what? I'm not gonna ask for a roll on that. We'll just. I have in my head a penalty to interact with people, and that's just how that'll go. Okay. So
I had to kill this guy. If I didn't kill him now, I was gonna have to kill everyone in the building.
I am not judging. So
I just wanted a burger.
do you guys go to rejoin the other two?
No.
Okay.
Running out the back of the alley.
Okay, so you're headed the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is gonna be fun. So let's do a little bit more of your guys' running. So you're running. You get out into another street that looks very much like the one that you were just on, maybe slightly less populated, but still a fair amount of commerce occurring. Directly across from you, there's a jazz club, and there are a couple of smaller dining establishments. There's what looks like a corner tavern, as well as a couple of businesses that are closed for the evening. There's a pharmacist and a couple of other locations, a bank, stuff like that.
Manhole covers?
Yeah, right in the middle of the fairly populated street, like at the intersection, you can see a manhole cover.
Yeah.
Do you think we need to go in?
Yeah. I think maybe we try and hide in the club. Because the thing is that I know equally the police are not going to be helpful to the victim. Like, they're not going to be helpful. And also probably all the people who help who know the victim aren't going to be helpful to the police either, probably.
You can hear shouting coming from behind you.
Yeah, we just need to get like away. I'm just going to like grab Roxy's hand, and she can wriggle away if she wants. I'm not gonna force you to follow me, but I'm gonna just grab your hand and begin to go into other alleys. Just move block to block away, going through alleyways, and just get lost until I find a dumpster. And I'm gonna jump in a dumpster if I can.
Roxy, do you follow?
Sure.
Okay. Okay. You hear voices. You are definitely being followed. There are several people who are searching for you right now. And you eventually find your way to a dumpster. The first dumpster you find is too full. There's no room for you. You have to keep going. I want the both of you to give me intelligence. So stealth and wits. Sorry, stealth and wits.
Not absolute garbage of those things. Not great though.
Okay. So Isaac, you're having a little bit of trouble. You're starting to get a little overwhelmed because this is completely unfamiliar territory for you. Everything looks and smells just kind of wrong. Roxy, you're generally in your element. This is
In the trash, yes.
yeah. Like hanging around in the back alleys and generally being unseen is something that you spend a lot of time doing. So there are actually a couple of times where like Isaac nearly like walks into a populated street, and you kind of like yoink him back and are like, nope, this way. And you've got a pretty good instinct for this kind of thing, but the entire time you can still hear people not very far away. You know that chances are trying to do this on foot just isn't going to work. You're either going to need to find like some way to really break away, and a dumpster might not be the best choice, or you're going to need to put a lot of distance in between you and whoever's coming for you, or you can always stand and fight. But you're realizing that like your current method probably isn't going to be viable in the long term. Back to Gianna and Eddie.
Yes.
And so, Death, this is going to be a little bit for you here in a little bit. You two, as you're talking with this lady, she eventually, or she very suddenly, in a moment, stops talking and looks down at her counter as if there is nothing more interesting in the world than what is directly here, and not in her line of sight behind you.
Who's around me? Yeah.
I'm immediately
As soon as she
following
does
where
that,
she's
like,
looking.
I don't like that.
And so the two of you find yourself surrounded, well, not surrounded, but like being greeted by six fairly large Chinese men in what are actually pretty decent looking suits. And Eddie, you're pretty good at this point. I'm not going to bother requiring a roll from you. You can tell that at least two of these guys are armed with hatchets, and at least two of them are armed with guns. The other two you can't quite tell because they're behind, but like you can see that these guys are ready. And one of them, in perfect, if not a little bit accented English, will say to you, "Please be our guests. The lady has asked for your presence."
I look to Gianna, and I look back at them. They're talking to me.
Yeah, they're talking to both of you.
Which lady? Who am I a guest of?
You will see soon.
Oh, we'll find out. I'm so excited.
All right. If it's all right with you, because you are, at the end of the day, the leader, so I look to you. Gianna. Yes? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
So these guys are going to direct them to our mutual friend, Death.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, very much so.
And so I'll sort of let you handle that part of things.
Okay.
Yeah, to make sure I have that other character rolled up.
And then,
just in case this goes bad.
And then Isaac and Roxy, the both of you are like, we're going to sort of leave you in limbo for a minute.
Okay.
Essentially, you are running for your lives right now.
Okay. Can we tell if, just as far as we understand, this is the Chinese coming after us, not police of it?
Correct. You have not heard a siren.
Okay.
You have not heard, frankly, you haven't heard anyone speaking English within earshot of you in a while.
I might be inclined to just draw them into a place to kill them if police are not involved. But we'll wait till it's our turn.
Yep. So let's go with this other group.
Okay. So, Eddie and Gianna, you're escorted by the well-suited individuals, and as they lead you, you actually arrive in the front door of an immaculate tall structure, and it's actually pretty lively. It's actually well lit, and in this part of it's probably one of the most well lit buildings in Chinatown, and it has in golden letters on the very top of the entryway saying it says "The Pearl," and they've already. All the gentlemen have already kind of hidden away their weaponry and kind of concealed everything away, and they just occasionally gesture you to follow them along. It is pretty busy. You see several individuals wearing suits, gowns, entering into this establishment, and as you walk in, and there's actually two doormen right there to open these golden metal doors, and as you're walking in, you see a large water fountain with a mountain structure with which looks like a small mountain Chinese village, and water just spewing out of it. There is the sound of music being played by a small quartet nearby, and you smell immediately the perfume of Chinese food. So you have the sweets, you have the smells of sweets and spices, and the smell of all variety of meats, and they continue gesturing you. You seem to be kind of edging along the one side of the restaurant, and you can see that there is large, well organized tables with white tablecloths, lazy susans, or for the really big tables. There's also a large mural with a golden phoenix and a red dragon on one end of the walls, and it's busy, it's packed, everyone is there, and it's just constant, and all you see is this absolute chaos unfold, but it seems perfectly timed, perfectly coordinated between the staff, and eventually you're guided through a hallway, and they knock on the door a couple times, and eventually it opens, and they walk right in. They gesture you to follow suit.
We do.
And, all right. As you walk in, you're actually in part of, I wouldn't say it's the kitchen, but it's the receiving side. So you see that there is bags of vegetables and fruits. There you see a prep team chopping away the vegetables, butchering the meats. And eventually there is now you go through another set of doors, but these are the swing doors. So they just easily swing open, and you will see that there is a hallway that leads to another set of stairs. and you ascend.
The moment we're out of sight of public, like I drop Eddie's arm, like I'm dropping the facade that I had put on, being myself again. So.
And they kind of ignore you for the most part. They're just checking every once in a while, just making sure you're following along. And after a while, you do lead to a you actually go through a different pathway, and it leads to, I will say, very nice wooden doors with golden handles. And the one who greeted you steps in front of the line and knocks on the door for a few moments, and opens the door ever so gently, and he says to you, "Please, she is waiting for you."
Thank you. Now,
that's very sweet of you.
Just so I remember for my own brain, down the path, up the stairs, through the kitchen, through the restaurant, that's the only exit that we saw?
The only obvious one that you saw.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Aside from whatever, hidden path. Okay.
There may be others, but there's a lot of doors, and there's a lot of chaos, so it's really hard to pay attention to.
Mm-hmm.
Along the way, have I seen more of these men in suits?
Not really. Yeah, maybe a couple scattered around. Like in the kitchen, they were definitely like one or two keeping an eye on things.
Okay.
I would say when they get to the more secluded areas, it's a little bit less, but it doesn't seem to be an issue for them. They seem pretty calm about it.
Okay. All right, cool. Then I would just mental notes that Eddie would take.
Mm-hmm.
Then I go through the door. I'll go first.
I'll let him.
Just in case they shoot me in the face or something. I don't know.
That's fair.
I'll walk through first.
So Eddie, the first when you walk in, the room, the first thing you notice right away is the smell of herbal incense burning. The room is sort of lit, but only to your side of the room. The other side is kind of a little bit darker, and for the most part, when you see this immaculate oriental rug that takes up the empty space, you see a couple of shelves on either side of you, mostly a lot of oriental knickknacks, and then you also, as you look further in, you see this obscenely large wooden desk where the front is fully carved every inch with this mural of dragons, phoenixes, and tigers and lions on there. And on the other end, and as you can see that there on the other end is certainly someone sitting there, kind of veiled in the shadow, and you smell something actually very appetizing.
I do?
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, pointing out which of us smells it would be a good idea.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I don't want to sit. I just want to approach.
I'll happily, if there's a chair, I'll take a seat. I would like to get a better look at this lady.
Yes, there is actually a seat there's two chairs right in front of the desk. They're both leather upholstered, but it's wood the rest of the way.
Okay. I'll happily take the seat. Who do I have the pleasure of meeting?
For a moment, there's a pause. Well, you have been causing quite the stir in my streets.
By arguing with your food vendors?
For causing too much attention.
Fair enough.
We usually don't get so many visitors in this side of town.
Well, we're new in town.
I see. then you should be then I will inform you now, for your benefit, that this domain is under protection.
By the way, Death, just real fast, she would have been informed as to the other developing situation.
Oh, okay. So, and right now I have a dead doorman.
A dead doorman?
Would you both care to explain yourselves to me for intruding on my domain and assaulting one of mine?
We have assaulted no one. At least the two of us. I can't speak for anything else. At least not to my knowledge.
Are you admitting that there are others?
There might be. I'm not admitting anything until I know more.
Well, once they are found, I hope for your sakes they are not important to you. I will enjoy feasting on their hearts.
You will not harm them, and I am using dominate.
I'll let you handle the rollings, Zed.
Yes. Hang on, I get to pull up a character sheet. I haven't really...
All I got is my knife on me. Let's fucking do this. Just point guns. But I didn't bring them because I thought, how hard could it be to just get to me?
Yeah, we are not quiet.
Man.
Good God.
Oh.
All right. No, Eddie just wanted. I mean, he is rolling his eyes at this shit.
Okay. So first, what level of dominate are you?
Currently, I'm just going to try compel.
Okay, hang on, because I just realized I was going the wrong direction in the PDF.
This woman is a vampire or not, so I don't have a whole lot of...
Okay, so you are going to roll your charisma and dominate.
Oh, that was the display thing. Boop. Could I add in my acting? No, I'm not using performance. Never mind.
Nice.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay, hang on one sec.
Yeah, well, when you sleep for 5 days.
Woke up fresh.
I mean, to be fair, rolling crits also helps.
Just a little.
That's how hungry she is. Okay. Yeah, so you get her there.
I said you will not harm them.
Okay. So Death, I'll let you sort of role play that, but she
did succeed.
Yeah.
With 3 over her.
Okay. Well, I will admit, I'd rather not cause any unwanted attention as well. I do not need more from the Camarilla to boast about the masquerade to my face.
You have issues with the Camarilla?
I thought you were one of them.
That's adorable.
If you're not, then are you one of the free roamers?
Yes, we are.
You could say that.
Sorry, laughs in ST. Continue.
Shut up, ST.
To be fair, when I look to Gianna, what is a free roamer?
Free roamer, meaning that we don't...
We are unaffiliated.
We are unaffiliated specifically with the Camarilla.
Well, if you're not part of the Camarilla, then I'm not as opposed to you, though I'm not appreciative of my doorman still dying.
Well, and I apologize for that incident. I think maybe we can try to make it up to you in the future if you have something that we can assist with. then maybe we can overlook that unfortunate incident.
Especially regarding your distaste of the Camarilla, as some may share your distaste.
Well, you wouldn't be the first ones to court my favor or my interests. And before she continues, there's another knock on the door, and there is somebody coming in with wearing a chef's jacket, rolling in a silver trolley with a dome covered, and rolls it in beside her. He bows quickly and quickly walks as fast as he humanly can out the door. And she gets up, and you notice that she's actually fairly, I would say, average stature. So she looks to be probably like 5'6", 5'7".
For a woman in this time period, that would be gigantic.
Is it?
Yeah. Common women's height now is like 5'5".
Okay, so she's 5'5" then. Okay. I had to think about this because my family is a little taller, so I'm using my family as a reference point.
Yeah, even like among Caucasian women, like 5'5" is pretty average.
Fair. So we'll go with 5'5". So she's 5'5". She's walking calmly, gracefully over to the silver trolley, opens it up, and I think. Do you think they should make a check to identify what that is, Zed?
I think. So here's the thing. I think Gianna should. I think Eddie will recognize it almost immediately.
Okay. So if Gianna, you want to make a roll for that, what would it be? Intelligence and medicine?
Yeah.
I have no medicine, but I will definitely.
Or if you have some kind of like culinary lore.
A cult?
A cult I might give it.
I'll give it to you with a cult at a disadvantage, so like knock a die off the roll.
So intelligence, submit, modifier -1.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
You know. You notice there's a pungent smell that hits you. I mean, there's the scent of all the spices, the herbs, and everything. But then one thing that resonates with the both of you right away is the smell of flesh, human flesh, and you notice right away by the cuts of the way that it's been cut, it's not like, it doesn't look anything like any animal you've seen so far in the stalls that you were walking by.
Eddie, give me a hunger check.
A rouse check?
What do I roll?
Hang on here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know what you roll for a hunger check.
Sorry, I apologize. Hang on. So actually what I want you to do is... Oh, I see.
Would it be willpower?
I was gonna say willpower.
Actually, no. Yeah, it's gonna be composure. You're gonna roll your resolve and composure.
Okay. So resolve, and I'll use.
Where is resolve?
Composure.
Mental.
No bonuses.
No bonuses
or anything.
Okay. You are able to stifle, but the smell is so close to what you are craving right now that it is like you can feel you're salivating. You're swallowing it. Yeah, but you are like this interests you.
That looks good.
Oh, would you like to partake?
The advice of Benny the fish?
I might puke it up. No offense to your chefs, but I don't know if it would sustain me. I could try.
All right. And she actually starts serving. There's a couple of small bowls, so she retrieves one and gathers a few pieces for you and hands it to you with a set of chopsticks.
Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah. So I'm gonna take these chopsticks. Eddie has never in his life used chopsticks. So I'm going to take them, and I would like to try to use chopsticks and try for no reason other than reason. It's like, oh, Oh, yeah, right. You think I can't use chopsticks? I'll use chopsticks. And he's going to try to do it.
Okay.
So not even being
Give me-
polite, but out of
No, out of like, oh, all right. Yeah,
out of being uppity.
yeah.
Give me a straight dexterity roll with -2 modifier.
Okay. -2.
Okay.
116.
So here's what happens. You nearly like lose a piece of meat over the side of the bowl, and so it end up resorting to stabbing it,
Yes.
and then just like stab, hump.
Now, does it aid me at all?
So quick question, Death. Is this human or otherwise?
It's a little bit of both.
Allow me to rephrase the question. Is it human, kindred, or animal?
I would say it is definitely the first one. And I will say for right now, there is not the second one.
Okay. So does it sustain you? A little. You can regain. So make a... You're going to gain one and then immediately roll rouse. Is, I think, how we'll do this.
Okay, so
I do believe it has. I
Lose
believe
a hunger.
it does get something out of humans.
and then
He
roll it
does. Okay, and so
Yay!
you
Nice.
keep it down and don't lose any of it. I'm just using the rouse not as a like we're just using this as a mechanism for now. So you do gain one and you're able to hold it down and you do feel a little better.
This is actually pretty good. Thank you.
Compliments of the chef.
Skittish
And-
man that just ran out.
Yes, he is one of my good ones.
Do I know what part of the body I just ate?
Yes.
Does he know if it's actually kindred or canine or human?
He knows it's definitely human. It does not taste as good as it would if it were
It's a
canine.
canine. Yeah.
But he does know what part.
So, Eddie, how
Yes.
close is that for you?
It's close, but I feel as though it would sustain me. I may need more of it, but I guess we could try. Especially, it's more difficult to capture Canaanites in this city. This may be what I have to resort to. And this is... I'm just gonna ask her. This is mortal?
Oh, yes. He was actually a very good doorman once.
Is this the doorman that just died?
Why waste perfectly fresh meat?
You are so fast at this. That is efficient. I'm genuinely, I'm not being sarcastic. I'm genuinely impressed at how quick that was. I applaud you.
I have a question.
You may ask.
Do you do takeout if we deliver the meat?
I believe we can arrange something.
I
But
think we
I-
can come to an arrangement,
I
but
believe
it would
so.
be
But I will attest, though, that the commotion of my doorman's death has caused a stir, and that needs to be quelled. So I will need something from you in order to assure that no further incidents occurs again.
I have a suggestion.
think our. Oh,
Two ideals. One, from one of the offending parties, I bring you a hand. Sign that they are disciplined for what they've done, and you can do with the hand as you want. Perhaps even cook it and I could eat it. I don't know. Or two, the act of the doorman is unfortunate. We meant no offense to you or your place. As I said, we are new to the city, though that is not a real excuse. I offer you this. You are established in this city. We are not. but we are useful. Myself and my group, including the ones that caused such a ruckus. If you have issues with, let's say, certain members of the other sects that may exist in the city, we can solve some of those issues without any of it coming back on you, because as I said, we are unaffiliated. We are simply in this city. We have just arrived. And if you're okay with it, we have never met you, nor have we ever stepped foot in Chinatown. Your doorman could have been killed by, I don't know, that particularly rude woman who runs a food stall out on the street, or something of the like.
What I think we can do is come to an arrangement between ourselves. An agreement on the takeout. An agreement that we can benefit each other in the long term. I think, though we haven't gone into detail, that we have
similar goals, perhaps, is what she was about to say.
Hang on, let's
wait until the go ahead, Gianna, finish what you were trying to say.
That we have some
similarities in opinion on maybe those who are entrenched. Maybe we can benefit each other overall.
Perhaps you might prove to be useful. I could always use extra set of hands.
Huh.
And as for your compensation for the assault of my doorman, I will gladly accept.
Understood.
And just for you, and just to make it appealing for me, as she kind of looks over to Eddie, I will cook it and you will eat it.
Miss, I did not catch your name, but is there something that I may call you?
You may refer to me as Ming Zhao.
Ming Zhao. Ming Zhao, I have no issue with eating my own kind, clearly, and I will gladly accept your offer.
You are very interesting. I think I will keep you around.
Thank you, Ming Zhao. I am Gianna. This is Eddie.
Gianna and Eddie. Now the question still becomes of what happens to your friends.
They are, unfortunately, indisposable to us. We need them, we require them. Though they are a bit hasty and a little unrefined, I believe they could grow in time, and they have a lot of potential. But their hands I will bring to you personally.
Very well. And she shouts in Chinese she shouts it outward, and one of the gentlemen from that was waiting on the door front comes in. She speaks a few words in Chinese to him, and he nods and closes the door. Do not worry. Your friends will be spared. I will call off the hunt.
Thank you.
We do appreciate it.
So, telescoping time a little bit here.
Mm-hmm.
And just to get back to Roxy and Isaac for a moment. So you guys are running, and, people are, like, you're just not really able to gain much in the way of distance. Neither of you are specifically all that fast. The people following you know the territory better. But after a little while, you hear the chase kind of slacken, and I'd like for the both of you to give me it's going to be wits and awareness. Wits and awareness. Okay. Isaac, you can hear voices that are what you think are speaking English right now. Roxy, you can hear more clearly, although still from a ways away. No one was all that close to you, it sounds like. But you hear someone yell, Gaijin, we stop. Go to where you came from. Meet your friends there. Go now.
So I will stop in the alleyway where we're at and jump behind some kind of cover and just wait in ambush. For a couple seconds, for a little while.
Definitely gonna wait.
Any of that.
Just in case it's a trick.
Yes.
Yeah. No,
I'm certain it is.
I like it. You guys wait for like 5 minutes or so. Nothing really happens. Do you keep waiting? How long do you stay there?
Just a little bit. I think I would ask Roxy, can you lead us maybe in a roundabout way?
Yeah. Well, I'll try to lead us back to where we were, but not backtracking, if that makes sense.
Yeah. General sense of direction. You can figure it out. You can eventually make your way back towards where you were. You really don't see anybody looking out of sorts at this point.
Okay.
Seems like maybe whatever commotion you might have caused has calmed down.
Yeah, I'm following Roxy, letting Roxy figure out which way we're going, and I'm just looking everywhere, paranoid that we're going to get attacked. Okay. I guess we get back to the...
Yeah.
That's so we were heading... Sorry, I missed like a word of some of the passive. We're going back to the butchery section where we started this chase?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So you guys end up heading back there, and no one's bothering you.
Okay.
For them, in the front of this restaurant, as sort of a...
Yeah,
like to tell them that it's okay, to like show them it's okay. You're not going to die.
Oh, okay, so you go and meet them, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Essentially, yeah. It's like a friendly face. Like, hello, be cool. Don't kill anyone else.
Well,
like, we're good.
We're all dead.
Now.
So
That's a good idea.
You can go to your friends now if you want. Like, we can reunite the party.
Oh, Ming Zhao didn't want them to be brought down.
I mean, it's up to you.
I was going to say, like, we go talk to them, deal with it, bring her the thing, and yeah.
That's a good call. Yeah, let's regroup with them at least. So sure, we'll meet them in the street. So, did you have a little accident?
I cleaned up a mess.
No, you didn't clean up a mess. You made a mess and you left it in a doorway.
While it worked out.
Just barely. We're going to need something from you. We've met a power player in this area. I assume she controls Chinatown. She seems like she is Chinatown. So
the fact that all of us are standing here and no one's freaking out definitely says that she has a good hold, at least here.
Yes. Though
we also might have solved our
Our what?
Our what?
our need for coming here in the first place.
Okay.
yes, I feel better. But I'm gonna need one of your hands each. So, Roxy, you look worse than usual. Have you eaten yet?
No.
Okay, then here's what we'll do. We're taking you back to base. You are going to eat. That way, when I cut off your hand, you won't freak out and tear my eyes out of my face. Fair?
And this person is going to help us with our goals.
Yes.
I believe so. They
So
seem
if
to
they
be
have any food?
She doesn't like the Camarilla either.
Okay.
Yes. And she does seem to have easy access to food. Yes, Isaac.
Now, Eddie.
Maybe that's how we feed Roxy.
Yes.
Okay.
You froze again on me.
Narcs or independence or something else. We aren't telling her we are Sabbat. Or K-Night again in her presence because it might give us away.
Did I say K-Night?
Yes.
I did? Oh. Force of habit.
I understand. But we're playing a game here.
Understood.
Please be aware.
Understood.
I let it slide just so that we didn't call attention. But if you can say so, please do. We don't want to give a player an upper hand over us any more than we already have.
We're gonna give her 2, right?
Yeah.
And,
Metaphorical hand, not actual.
and just so that it's not stressful to you in the event, or if you are present when it happens, I am going to those hands.
Yeah, I mean, once they're detached, I don't really care what you do with it.
I didn't think you did.
Okay,
So-
let's go.
And this will make things right.
Yes.
This will,
Supposedly.
Sure.
I mean, Reductus also dominated this person, and I don't know how long that lasts. And after she stops being dominated, if she's going to hunt us to the ends of the earth.
Hold
Anyway.
up. You don't know that she did that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I thought she like goes boo boo or something like.
There's
okay.
no like
Ooh.
eye
my God, it's
beams
even
or
worse.
anything that she
There's no
Oh.
like visual
There's no-
like just demonstration.
All
Right.
what you know happened is Gianna said something and the other lady calmed down. Like that's what.
No, I mean, you could suspect based on me doing it to Isaac in the sun fight, but you wouldn't know for sure.
Then I'm sorry, I wouldn't say that. I would say this should make it right as long as there's no other issues that we're going to be dealing with. And I look to Gianna.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Now, we are going to be working with this woman. Now, what I'm hoping to gain out of it is a bit more perspective on the city. If she doesn't like La, as we continue working with her, maybe we can ask for some guidance or some places to go, such things as that, things that we don't know yet. But we're going to have to play it careful and quiet. So if you don't think you can lie well, if you don't think that you're going to be a person.
I'm going to take this opportunity as she's frozen to let everyone know that Isaac has attempted to speak a couple of times.
Sorry.
So, but Gianna, finish off what you were saying. Once you
Full
unfreeze.
with your words.
Yeah, you froze earlier.
You've frozen twice.
Am I good now?
Do it fast.
Too
If
fast.
you don't think you can be careful with your words, then don't go in her presence.
I have no need to speak. I will follow and remain silent.
And let's call our taxi.
Well, yeah, so this lady can feed Roxy so that she can give her hand.
Will
She
this
can.
lady feed Roxy? No, I don't think she will. I don't think that that's even something I would want to ask. I think at this point we are going to give her what she is owed for the crimes against her, and then we will make deals later. As of now, we're in the apology section.
We'll run to the sunrise, feed Roxy, deal with the hands, and go on our way.
As you guys are talking, the man who walked up to Gianna and Isaac earlier, and 2 of his associates, but not all 6, will head out towards you guys and say, "It is time. Ming Zhao has other business to attend to. She has asked for her payment soon."
Oh, not a problem.
We cannot leave.
No, we cannot.
Please, come with us.
As we are walking, I will sidle up very, very close to Roxy and begin to whisper, I will not take advantage of you, but you need something. So take from me.
Can I do this? Like,
yeah. So the danger is that you would be somewhat blood bonded to me, and I'm giving the promise of a vampire, but I'm giving the promise that I won't take advantage of you through that.
Now, here's what I want to point out. You guys are currently in a populated city street.
yeah.
Being escorted into a fairly populated business in pretty bright, well-lit areas.
Yep. Well, yeah. I'm aware.
Well, we'll see, I guess, what happens when we get there.
Like I said with Eddie, it's now or never. You live with your choices.
I hear them talking.
I'm whispering very quietly. It's just Roxy, if I can make it.
If you're trying to be that quiet, then I would like for you to give me a, let's call it interesting. I think it's going to be composure and stealth.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes.
I'm actually going to roll for somebody.
I like how it's just somebody.
It's a thing, or an object, or whatever.
Holy God.
No, it just. Yeah, actually, that's kind of a shit roll for that.
Yeah, that's not that great.
So it's actually going to be a push, and I think we're going with the old defenders win. So, so you guys are fine. No one else hears this conversation.
I don't like this.
So, what I'm gonna do is just since Roxy's wearing this whole shawl thing, is kind of covered up already. I'm going to make it look as though I'm comforting her by like placing my hand on her cheek like that. For just a moment, and if Roxy does nothing, then I take it away, and that's it.
Given that you guys are walking, it may actually make, and I realize I'm the ST, so I don't know if, suggestions, but given that you guys are walking, it may make more sense for you to like put your arm around Roxy.
Mm-hmm.
Like this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Are we still in the street?
So at this point, you guys are inside the building. You're headed towards Ming's back room.
But we are, so we're still near mortals.
You would assume, without wandering around and checking them all for a pulse, it's hard to tell.
Yeah, and I don't notice what they're doing.
You see Isaac get real close to Roxy, and hang on. Yeah, I am going to need another roll because it's a different thing. So do the same. Give me the same roll, though.
Who?
Isaac.
Okay. I mean, I'm not hiding what I'm doing. I'm not doing anything particularly suspicious. I imagine the suspicious thing would be if Roxy actually does bite.
Fair enough.
Let's. I'm just because I wouldn't do anything because we've already made such a mess as it is. I would instead like to ask Arductus how to proceed.
How do you ask?
Because Gianna.
Yes.
And if we do this now, it could get even messier.
Yes. Let us wait until we get in a back hall, away from prying eyes. So I'll actually I'll stand next to her until we're in that back hall with the stairwell where we didn't see anybody but these guards going up.
Going.
Room.
Going.
Going.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Okay.
We're gonna try to fix this before next game. I don't know what the deal is.
Rock.
I'm getting
Oh.
the craziest still images though.
It's like screen cap.
Yeah.
Okay. Roxy. So one of us can give you something. But at this point, going up here, we might as well deal with it up here.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to give you an undue burden. So let's continue.
Okay.
Right. Then we continue down. I guess continue following them.
Yeah. Let's say, I mean, you guys make it to... So, do you stop at any point along the way? Because otherwise you successfully make it to Ming's back parlor.
Nope.
Okay.
No.
So, Death, they are returned to you.
All right. So for Roxy and Isaac, you see that there's two wooden doors that are immaculately well polished, very nice, golden handles. The gentleman opened the door and gesture all of you to walk in. And as you walk in, you are greeted to the sight of the room. For your portion of the room, it's very well lit. There's going to be an oriental rug in the center of the floor, and you got adjacent on either side of the walls are going to be shelves full of what looks like oriental knickknacks. Roxy, you're seeing some familiar sights in here, and you both also are kind of welcomed by the smell of incense being burned. And on the other side, you see from the door, you see a very immaculately carved wooden desk, and actually there you see a small Asian woman in her 30s and around her 30s or 40s. She is wearing a oriental gown, and so she gestures to all of you, and you notice that now for everyone, including Eddie and Gianna, you all see that there is a silver trolley with what looks like a knife block and several sharp implements adjacent to it. And you also see a gentleman in a chef's jacket standing by with his head facing downward.
The same guy as before?
Yes, it is.
He's a real good chef, but a real sad guy. Oh, my job sucks. I do not like it.
I guess I get to cut off these hands now.
Yep. I will say that, and then also on top of that, so there's two chairs. You only notice two chairs, and then this time there's also, I will say, two large porcelain bowls on the floor with towels around and surrounding them.
Waste not. Yeah. She does not waste anything. I like this lady. She's not fucking around.
I'm gonna push Roxy forward to go first, but not letting go. What I want to do is have both of my arms, so one of them on each of Roxy's shoulders in case things go screwy.
Okay. As if you're giving her support.
Yes.
Yep. That's fine.
Because if things go screwy, I want to have both my arms to try and fix it.
Okay.
Very well.
None of Ming's people will
fair.
stop that.
No. They will not. She walks over to Eddie and Gianna. Thank you for honoring your agreement.
No problem. This one needs to eat first or she's going to flip their shit. If you want, she can take from me or any of us.
Rather than your people again.
Rather than her flip out and maybe kill one or two of you guys. She's deceptively pretty strong.
Very well. Feed her. I don't want my carpet to be stained if possible.
Of course, it is actually pretty nice.
Roxy,
Yes.
your choice. I will not force any of us on you. You choose.
And as she's choosing, the chef is honing the butcher's cleaver.
I want to kind of eye up their cleavers. Are they like really nice? Like in really good condition?
Yeah, it's a solid piece of metal, and you're looking at it, it's thick too. It's not like flimsy in any of the kind.
Yeah, it's like legit. These are like real knives.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie's just sort of now he's like half paying attention to what's going on because he's definitely into that.
If it's my choice, well, Isaac did offer, and it feels wrong to ask anybody else. So he did offer, and if that offer is still on the table, then I will take it up.
Yep. I will offer my wrist to you or whatever, and you take as much as you want. I am the only person who is not hungry at all.
Yeah.
Did you eat before we left?
I was at 0 when I woke up, and then rolled and I ended up with 1 because I woke up.
Oh, okay.
So
I was confused why nobody ate
totally
before we
fine.
left. Like, whatever. This makes it more fun.
I was expecting a taxi driver.
Yeah. So I don't know what I'm supposed to do, Zed.
I don't either.
So there are probably other systems in place, but given the amount of time that we have available, here's what's going to happen. It's very simple. Isaac, remove 2 points of blood. Roxy, gain 2 points of blood. We'll call it a day.
Remove 2 points of hunger.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, sorry.
We're so used to older systems.
I know. And here's the thing. I could be running this for 3 years straight. I'd still do that.
And then the bond goes away with or actually better, do we know if the bond gets erased? Because I know it does, but do we know that it does?
So you would know that is one of the properties of the Vauldery, but you don't know the exact system for it.
Yeah. But I have the impression that
yes,
this will eventually be okay.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
I would like to offer to the chef sharpening the knives. I would like to offer, to do it. Our people, would you like us to punish them? Your person, the victim, but
Ming actually gives a little bit of a kind of surprised but intrigued look. Well, I think I will be enjoying this a lot more. If you wish, please.
I offer to take the meat cleaver.
Mm-hmm. And the chef will hand it over.
This is very nice. Who's first?
I'll still go first.
I grab your hand, I move it over, and just very fast, I don't let you get ready, it's and just lop it right off.
The moment that Eddie pulled her over, I will hold her other hand, just as kind of like an awareness thing for me of okay, you're not trying to fight and move, or you're not going to jump on somebody.
Kerchop, flop, thunk, hand in bowl. Next.
Okay.
Ready?
And just take it right off.
I do the same with Isaac's hand.
Okay. So the hands are in the bowls. There's a nice pool of blood inside those bowls.
Both of you add 1 aggravated damage to your sheet.
Is that the X?
Yeah, the X is the aggravated.
So you'll deal with that later.
And I very respectfully clean the blade with any of I assume they probably have a rag nearby.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, some water and clean it as I would my own blade.
Yes, there's a water basin nearby to clean it. So,
and I do so.
Right. So the chef takes the hands in the bowl, puts it on the trolley, wheels it down, and I will say for the expediency of all the enjoyment of everyone, in about, I want to say we'll go with 20 minutes. The chef comes back with the trolley with a silver dome on top, and he kind of centers it in front of Eddie and opens it. And basically it is the equivalent of sweet and sour pork. No, it's sweet and sour pork.
Really?
Yeah.
I was going to say black beans with chicken feet.
Yeah.
Well, I could have done that.
Yeah. Because it's
Well,
all the bony and cartilage and the stringy bits. Anyway.
Okay. Oh no, it could also have been pig's foot in the same style. So yeah, you could have done that.
Ooh.
I don't mind the bones.
Oh no, the bones are all still there.
Good, so they're still pretty much the shapes of hands.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes. That's been submerged in the wonderful clear broth sauce, and you can clearly see specks of a little bit of red berries, black beans, scallions on top.
Oh, he has never had this. This is wonderful. He's loving it.
There's also.
So I'd like to look to the ductus and say, as I sit down, I put a little.
Yeah, I do want rouse checks, Roxy and Isaac. I was just
Okay.
waiting for a clean moment.
Gotcha.
Hurry it up, Eddie.
Okay, I put mine extra bit and say,
Good thing we did that.
ductus,
Mhm.
you two sit, and I have them both sit in front of me. And I look at them. No, this is serious. I look at them and I go, we were sent here because we have something important to do. And I look
I'm going to carefully set my hand on his shoulder, just as a reminder.
And you two act horrendously and endanger us in a place that we do not really belong and in a place that we do not know. This is your punishment, and I hope that you remember it. Your actions have consequences. And I take the first hand and I just bite the fucking fingers off and begin to eat them. Take the other one and just like an animal start tearing these hands apart while kind of making eye contact with them, making sure that they see me eating their hands.
Gain a bonus
And I finish
XP.
them rather quickly.
Oh, also, there's also a side of blood cubes.
Good, I eat those. I eat it all. I drink the thing and I polish it off.
Okay, so Eddie gains 3 points of blood and 1 bonus XP.
Yay!
And that's where we're gonna have to call it.
Yep.
So, yay! That was a game.
Thanks for inviting me, guys.
That was
Glad
awesome.
you could be a part of that. All right, so
We got to meet the woman of Chinatown, like the one who went China. That's fucking cool.
So we typically end with pluses and minuses. I'd like to go around real quick. Death, I'd like to include you in that. Also, if anyone has any nominations for XP, we thank you, Cranky Old English Dude.
I love it.
Then let's do that. So 1 up, 1 down, 1 nom, and let's go super quick. Also, if you have anything to plug, do it quickly and right before your up, down, nom. Okay. So let's go ahead and we'll just start with Isaac today.
Okay. All of the games that I'm in, the schedules are down below. I'm a part of Mimic Knights, Shadowrun, New Atlantis, and Pokemon, and this. And I had a lot of fun with this. I got to finally attack a mortal with the power that I've been preparing for forever. I wanted to do that for a long time. I wanted to test how effective it is, because I'm pretty sure, I can, with a roll like what I got, I'm pretty sure I can just kill someone with one strike.
Yeah, you are One Punch Man against mortals.
Yes.
All right. And minuses. Oh, I don't know. I felt a tiny bit lost because generally I'm a bit useless, but I think I managed to find a way to try and be helpful, just leaving the door open for Roxy. I'm kind of barely scraping by in any social interactions. So.
Although I got to be honest, I actually really enjoyed the no speak English, no speak English, no speak English, no speak English.
That was so. I love that.
So that was cool.
That was a good part. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I love those bits. Growing up in New York, you see that interaction happen far more than you believe.
Roxy.
Okay, so I can be found across the internet.
Also Eddie for nomination. Sorry.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, that's okay. On Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Jumi of Diamonds. My negative would be on myself and I plan to do more planning on our downtime for things that when we skip weeks and stuff like that. The positive, I got to do a lot of sneaky stuff this game, which was a lot of fun. And my nomination, I would give 2 hands to Zombie, to Eddie for keeping all of that down.
Thank you.
Excellent. Yeah, that totally makes sense. Eddie.
So I am Evan Jennings 64 on Twitter. Also Zombie Love Juice pretty much everywhere else. And me and my friends do our own D&D on YouTube. We put it on Beyond EMH YouTube. Is what it's called. And I love this. I think the pluses, this one was a lot of fun. I think not only because of the stuff, I had some stuff I wanted to do. We didn't really do that, but we did something so much more interesting, which is like just going to do this dumb shit and find an organ. We found like the king of the queen of Chinatown. It was so cool. Didn't expect it. Didn't know what to do, but I loved it. I love the lore that this city is building around us. And I think I'm very excited to meet more people. Minuses, I just messed up a few times. There are a few things that I should have done. I didn't know I said Canaanites. I just said it because I gotten so used to saying it.
That's good. That's the kind of mistake I want you to make.
And he's not a talker. He's not a con man. He's not good at this shit. So like,
trust me, she remembers you said that.
Oh yeah. When they sat down, all he was focusing on was teaching them a lesson and not thinking about that she's listening right now. So he's not the best in these situations, but I think it was a lot of fun. I loved it. My nomination I would put to Roxy for doing an excellent, really, really good stealth like mission and doing a really good job checking all of everything, minding her P's and Q's, turning off the light, and then completely fucking it all up by bashing the guy in the back of the head for no reason.
No, there was a plan behind it. It just didn't go the way I wanted.
I loved it. This is the shit to me that makes role playing games so much fun. It's because like you can't account for what everyone else is.
The solution to any time people know who we are is kill all witnesses. So
I just leaves him in the spine so hard he dies. So I loved it. I love that whole interaction was just gold. But yeah, so that's my 2 cents.
Who was your so your nom was Roxy. Okay.
I would say Roxy for the whole like being sneaky and then bashing you in the back of the head.
I did dig that as well.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I liked all that. I actually thought you did an awful lot with not a whole lot of like there was very little interaction socially, but you got a lot done. And had this not been the situation that it was, I think your instincts were pretty solid.
Yeah. So one thing I just want to ask Roxy, did you keep the J turtle?
I mean, I would have probably dropped it at that point. Yeah.
Okay.
You don't get to get us for stolen goods too. No, we're square. We're even.
Sad.
Okay.
So just to continue forward, so Gianna, and we do got to go quickly, guys. So
yeah, we do. Yep. Sorry.
Yeah. So there's a game at 4. So in general, I am found on Twitter, Mrs. OG Cron, add an underscore between the Mrs. and the OG, and you find my Instagram, which is where I do most of my stuff. My downs. Why do I keep freezing? Why? It's driving me crazy.
Just get to it.
Yeah, and then your upside.
My upside is I loved finally interacting with people outside of our own group. Like I consider Sebastian our group. That's not interacting outside. Like getting out and interacting with people. I love shopping in Asia Town here in my city, and I totally understand. Tiny words. Stick to tiny words, and you're generally good. Or
I would love to know what all she was saying, but we're gonna have to move forward.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
All right.
I love you very much, dear.
Yeah.
I loved interacting with people outside of our circle for once.
Cool. Who's your nomination?
Very much Eddie. This is your punishment.
Okay. So just to very quickly state, so Death by Mage is our guest ST today. He and I, so just in case maybe not everyone is aware, Death is sort of the floating ST. He's our background ST for this whole endeavor. So I'm running a game, Solobon is running a game, Thrak is running a game, and Death is helping to coordinate behind the scenes a lot of it, paying attention to rules, looking at the documentation. But with regard specifically to this character in this part of town, he did a lot of the background work. And so knowing that this was something that we were probably going to be interacting with today, I'd asked him ahead of time to kind of hang out and be on call in case this was the choice that you made, so that we could run it properly. So, so this was planned and it worked out real well. We are going to have to figure out like a guest box option. Because I agree that like it worked out today that Ivan wasn't here. But yeah, like what if he weren't, right? So we'll fix that issue for future. But Death, up, down, nom?
So ups for sure. Everybody did great. I love Roxy's stealth mission. That was great. I loved it. I got to explore. You got to open and explore more of the Pearl. I loved Eddie's entire last bit about just like going whole ham on the hands. Gianna dominating Ming Zhao was not something I was expecting today.
No.
So that was something. And having Isaac completely just literally break the spine of that really tall, towering, like 250-pound Asian man. Yeah, that was awesome. That was absolutely awesome. And I don't really have any doubts other than myself. Like I thought maybe if I had any issues with the narrating or describing any of the scenery, that might be on me. But other than that, if I were to give any kind of bonus XP, it would I can't give it to one person. It would be everyone. You all did great today. You all did something absolutely amazing and wonderful. I love you all. I love it.
Excellent. Well, and
love you too.
First off, I'll say I think you did great. I'm actually a little worried now that I've got to step my game up a little bit with my descriptions of things. But so I'm just gonna say, so my down, I'm gonna start with like our mild technical issues, but we're always working it out. We're always improving. We're always getting better. My up for today, I actually thought this was a pretty great ensemble job, especially minus our spiritual center with Ivan not here. I do get the feeling that had he been here, some of our choices would have been fairly different.
Oh yeah.
So
we need more than one talker.
so I really liked the way this all worked out. And then
I think the doorman would have ended up a lot differently.
Maybe. We'll see. Who knows? But so one of the things though that I want to say real fast. So this is the only game that I'm running right now, so I should be able to finally start putting a little bit more into some things. So that's sort of like my behind the scenes down up is like I've got stuff I'm working on, but I think it's going to be pretty cool. So keep tuned, guys. Otherwise, I do just want to quickly replug So Nerdware as our sponsor, and don't forget, check out their shop. You can get all sorts of cool bonus to but also don't forget to use code WELCOME at the So Nerdware shop to get 10% off. And then
Crusade of Thorns stuff.
Yeah, Crusade of Thorns merch, yo. And I still want one with my face just doing this, the finger guns, but I don't know if that'll happen. I would wear it. I would wear it in public. So
I never would.
So real fast though, to finish this off, my nomination, I already sort of gave it because I gave Eddie a bonus XP for the hardcore with the hands, but I am also going to honor I liked the additional nom for Roxy. I thought that was really solid, her bit there. So here's the way this is going to work. You guys, you got so it turns out I've been going a little light on you, XP wise. I thought I was giving you a lot, and in fact, turns out I was behind the curve. So here's how this is going to go. Eddie and Roxy, both of you get 12 XP. And then Isaac and Gianna, both of you get 11 XP. That is to make up for the difference in what I should have been giving you up till this point. And going forward, you'll be getting more as well. I'll tell you about that later. So make those notations, start spending some stuff, get better and stronger. It is now 3:46. I really hope that you guys out there will stick around for the sweet monster PC Underdark D&D 5e that's coming up. I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be excellent. And with that, catch us again next week, Saturday at noon. Catch the next...
Whoa.
What?
And you get a level 2 discipline?
And
Yeah.
you get a level 2 discipline.
Yeah.
You get a little discipline.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's what he's saying. Okay.
Yeah, Throck is
I
just
was
being
gonna say,
Oprah. And so finally, check us out again, please, next week, Saturday at noon. The next game is going to be Anarchs on Soul Bear RPG. That's Tuesday. And I want to say that, that's
8:30.
8:30 EST. And then the Cam game on Wednesday at 8 o'clock EST back here on this channel. And yeah, I think we're in good shape. So thank you very much, everybody, and have a good weekend.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.